Good evening, fellow YouTubers and people in the community. Welcome to the now Wednesday Maker Hangout stream. And we already have 3 people in the background, including an eye. But that's, not important. Nothing there. We got a guy, out of Texas. And our good friend Will, who everyone saw last week. And everyone had a great conversation with him. So I feel like that's why he's back. So how's everyone
I had a great
this
time.
Week? How's everyone doing this week? Yeah.
Do you, whenever you go live, does it automatically share it with Twitch?
Yes.
Okay, because instantly when you went live, it came up as my my Twitch feed.
Yep. Twitch does not let me pre-plan like YouTube does.
Oh, okay.
Live with Twitches, you're live. That's it. So got off access hiding in the back. So how's everyone doing this week?
Tired, hot, and I feel like I've been robbed. Anybody else?
Yeah. I'm more feeling like I'm robbed of time, but that's more than that. Yes.
What sort of robbed? Like that's kind of a worrying thing to say.
Well, the last 2 days, Sunday night or Monday morning, I don't know, whatever, 12 o'clock, midnight. I was sound asleep. And I started getting phone calls from the fraud department at one of my private banks.
Oh, geez.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, I told you about this, Justin, didn't I?
I think so.
So somebody started hitting my account with these 90-cent charges, less than $1. So by the time I actually woke up in the morning, because I'm not answering shit at 12:30 at night. It's just not going to happen. One, I'm not awake enough to have a coherent conversation. And number 2 is if somebody's trying to scam me at 12:30, they're probably going to get away with it. So I just ignore everything. So I waited till my bank that this fraud department alert was coming from doesn't open up till 8:30 in the morning. Now, this is a private bank. So I called them. They said it was valid. Got back with them. And today I just finished up going line by line item on one of the accounts I have with them. It's taken two and a half days because Amazon doesn't, when you order something from Amazon, it doesn't actually bill you that second.
Right.
It waits until they ship it on some items.
Yep.
So we had to go line by line, and there would be like a $29.90 charge. What's that for? I don't know. And I would have to backtrack to what I bought that included tax at $29.90 because it was all pending stuff. And Amazon doesn't always show up as what you're being billed for.
Mm-hmm.
So, the last 2.5 days, whatever scammer tried to jump into my account and hit my account, if I ever catch them, I'm just going to squeeze until their head pops off.
Yeah.
And the person standing closest to them probably going to do that to them too.
Right. I am sorry that you had to go through that. That is really stressful.
Well, that's just part of it. What really sucks is my man, I've got my printer's just throwing out freaking filament right now, but it doesn't do anything. What the hell's going on?
I don't know how that feels. Last 3 weeks.
That's worse than fraud.
Printer.
Yeah. What really sucks is the instant this happened, and I said no, it wasn't me. They shut all communication down with who uses that card. Amazon and my insurance company, and I don't put a lot of stuff on my debit card, and that's what they hit. So I pay most things on a credit card, and I use my debit card to pay my credit card. So, but it has screwed. It didn't even click to me until about an hour and a half ago when I got back here to the house. I went to order something from, I guess it was Ali or AliExpress or whatever. Anyway, I just clicked on the Google Pay, and it shut me down because the account was inactive. Now I'm actually in a suspended mode because I forgot to tell them I'm changing. Right. So the repercussions just keep hitting. I'm not real happy about it right now.
That is rough.
But, shit happens, dude. If I catch one of these little scammers that's doing this, and I actually get my hands on them, it's going to be very sad for them, and then probably me in prison later. But these scammers
Ugh.
got to go. I don't like them.
What
Anyway,
about you, Danger Den? I know you had a new hinge, and I was pretty stoked to see that.
yeah,
I
me
think
too.
they might be away. Oh yeah, dope.
Yeah. So
Oh,
this
there
is
we
a
go. Yeah.
so this is for my Voron. So it's basically kind of like the hinge that's in a bathroom. You know how like you open up the bathroom stall door and it'll stay open, and you close it shut and it's kind of stays shut. That's
Yes.
basically the idea behind it.
Oh wow.
So it just kind of does that with the extra weight on it. You close it and it pretty much stays closed, and it is a little aggressive on like if you were to push down on the door. That's how far forward the ramp is for it, but that's what you need to keep it closed. And yeah.
Wow, that's the idea of having these set states for the door, either fully open or fully closed. That's so attractive. What a good idea.
Yeah. And it doesn't go fully open, so if you have machines
When
next to it.
When it's fully
Nice.
open, Shane, does it lock in?
Yeah, it does the same thing. It kind of holds itself open. So
I mean, is it done with a notch or is it just done with the flat spots?
I have the worst filament here for trying to show this off, and I have the whitest hands. Hold on, let me find something a little darker.
There you go, Justin. Thank you.
That was not me. That's my producer.
Oh, thank you, producer.
That's what we call him.
Oh, okay. I see how it works. All right.
Yeah, so it's I guess you could probably see it a little better on that. So it's kind of a similar.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. Did you design this?
Yeah.
Post that. I want to print it and check it out.
Yeah, I need to do a little more testing before I fully, because this was my last prototype. It was using the 3M adhesive, and it kept falling off when it heated up. So I am putting holes in it.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's a good look.
Thanks, Will, for bringing his hinge back up. I felt kind of bad. I kind of took over there.
Nah, I just get really excited about hinges. You know me.
Yeah, that's something sick about that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dude, how do you have such a clean fake background? I mean, it kills me every time you do this. I'm just not sure.
I have an admission to make to all of our loyal viewers. I am a liar, but a responsible liar. And I'm going to reveal my secret right now.
Right.
So this back here is my workshop. It is in reality my actual workshop, and it is not behind me. It is actually in front of me, because my computer is in a different room.
Oh, you have a pull down screen. You suck.
Yeah. So I actually
and I'm envious all at the same time.
Yes.
I'm very proud of this pull down green screen, because I worked a lot on it during COVID. I was doing a lot of online, stuff, as everyone was, and I didn't want a green screen that I had to set up. I really needed it to be pulled down. However, all of the green screens that functioned in this manner needed to be mounted via chains or hooks or these odd mechanisms. So I designed a 3D printed attachment method for my ceiling that let it sit low profile against it. It's been a delight, and it was a fun project to do. But I have all these
Awesome.
fun virtual backgrounds that I was considering yesterday. Let me go through and got this fun. Got this guy right here.
Hey, Justin, Ian said he was just going to be running late. He had to go to church, and he was dropping in. Oh, did he? Okay.
Yep. I have more communication with him because he's on Discord.
Yeah, well, you know, dude, I have Discord. I just got everything turned off on it because,
Well, we gotta fix that.
dude, like I said, we're in harvest season right now, man.
I
And
know.
between all the ranches and farms and all the BS I've got to do, by the
Right.
time we do this, people are saying, "Why aren't you on Discord?" I'm like, "Why aren't you out picking tomatoes?" I mean,
Right.
seriously, this
I
is the busiest personal time for me is this time of the year.
Right. I'm trying to clear out this mosquito magnum heat break that has something in it that I cannot get cleared out. So I clamped it in a vise, my mobile vise I can clamp onto any surface. Ooh, we've got a Zach. I think.
So
Waiting
you
on
gave
my
it the clamps?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There's
What's up,
Zach.
Zach? Sorry, Will. I didn't mean to cut you off again, dude. That's twice.
By no means.
I
Dude,
don't
if you
think
can
we
reach
can
through
hear
and
Zach.
slap me, go ahead. You're more than welcome. Zach, how are you tonight, man?
Good. Busy.
How's my DXF coming along?
Dude, I haven't even opened it.
I know.
What is a DXF? Oh, like a DXF file.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was some other acronym that I wasn't familiar with. But this is the vector-based file that Autodesk fought so hard to keep closed.
Yeah, it worked well, didn't it?
Fortunately for us, it did not work out for them. Speaking of hinges, though, I finished up this fun little flexure mechanism. This is a modification of my bookbind flexure, but in a three-sided orientation, so that it limits its linear motion in one axis.
Yeah, I was about to say, it doesn't look like you can get any kind of rotational or
Yeah.
or translational. You're just going.
You can get a little bit, and that was my discovery from this. Was you do have some odd
Ooh.
motion that
Well,
I was almost thinking of maybe a three-dimensional mouse. You've got all six axes.
right.
The up-down
Capitalize on,
motion.
yeah, capitalize
Yeah.
on that.
I think
Now, what did you
the
print this out of?
wider. So the flexible portions are out of PETG because PLA has in the past been very unreliable for this aspect. But the handles just straight PLA. I have a bunch of this clear PLA, or sorry, the clear PETG, which, if you can see, is quite a delight to see the gyroid infill through there. But yeah, it's been neat, and I have a feeling that if I extend these flexure mechanisms outwards, I'll be able to limit the overall motion, limitation even more. Whether or not that's what I want to do or not.
What was the inspiration for this?
Well, to be honest, I'd put this this hinge flexure down for quite some time. Originally, it was when I was working with Lockheed Martin during
Maybe.
my senior capstone. I was working on the new Moonlander module.
Mitch.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, I think I was talking to Mitch about this at the Rep Festival. You appear to be muted. Regardless, I developed this to cover this cryogenic transfer system, and I just really liked the flexure. And when I was getting ready for the Rep Festival, I was just grabbing whatever I could. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to show here. Let's get together everything that I've got in my closet. And that flexure mechanism turned out to be my most popular model that I had there. And I'm pretty sure it's the reason that I ended up winning that popular vote for the Voron. So I figured I'd pick it back up, get a more, cohesive, fun little device out of it, and now we're here.
You still haven't told me what material did you print this out of?
Oh yes, the clear is out of PETG, and the black is just regular PLA.
Oh, it's just Pet G with that
Just
flexibility.
Pet G. That's right.
Okay, I
That's
expected
why I'm
more.
so proud of it.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you did say Pet G, and
No, it's all good.
I expected a lot more. Something spectacular, but
I take that as a compliment. That's
for sure.
It's very heartening to for people to expect this to be some sort of exotic material, but in reality you can get these beautiful flexure mechanisms out of just the stuff we already have lying around.
Dude, what are you going to do with this in the future? I mean, where's your long-term goal here, Will?
Are you talking about with my own time or with this flexure mechanism?
No.
Because
Just in general,
I don't know for either.
Oh, well, that's not very helpful.
I know. I had this job that I was applying for that it was just perfect. I was going to move out to New York. I was going to, do odd projects with all this fun CAD, and then right before I was ready to apply, I was, polishing my resume, giving it that spit shine, and I waited a few days. It was supposed to close August 1st, still in the future right now. Beginning of this month, I go to apply. We've closed applications early for, we just got too many. Boy, was I disappointed. And, I'm gonna work on talking to some folks that are more local, but hey, I've put my application in for teenage engineering, my dream job. Move to Stockholm, design, physical products for synthesizers and cool furniture. Ugh, I could go to IKEA, but not just like my local IKEA, but the IKEA. What a dream.
Dude, is that,
Hey, you ought to get a job. Sorry.
Yeah, me too. Sorry. You had a good one. Go ahead, Zach.
I said you ought to get a job for NASA Langley and come move to my neck of the woods.
Oh, I'd love to visit you at the very least. And hey, if I could get a job at NASA, I'd be proud to tell that to my mom.
I need to check, but apparently they're doing a NASA Langley open house in October. And apparently they only do it like 1 or 2 times every 10 years.
Same thing here, Zach. Because I live right outside of Houston, and NASA is actually in League City, but they call it Houston. Same deal. They're getting ready to do a big job fair, bringing in new tech, new ideas, just kind of new everything, and it's right here. It's like 10 minutes from me. So I'm on their email list. I'll have to dig the email. Wait, emails, I think, is how they're sending this stuff to me. If it's something you're interested in, dude, I will forward them over to you.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, honestly, I'll take whatever I can get right now, and that getting's good. Like, I really appreciate how well connected you all are.
I mean, I'm not connected. I just live close,
Hey, that counts.
I call it being old, and I've just seen everything. So, dude, I am so retired now that they send me this stuff, and I have no interest in it, and I kind of ignore it. But overall, if I can help other people out with the things I know and the people I know, I'm always down for that.
I want to check Mitch's mic real quick. Shucks, it's still not working.
Still down, Mitch. Nope.
Yeah, so the company I work for is we do R&D manufacturing for aerospace.
Oh, fantastic. So, what a cool job.
Prototypes for NASA, for like John Hopkins, Lockheed, that kind of thing. Do a lot of helicopter blades, do a lot of...
Ooh.
Yeah. I've been working on helicopter blade molds now for quite some time.
Ooh, like...
I'm a CNC programmer, so...
Okay, Zach, I actually
amazing.
knew that, but it's funny you brought that up because NASA approached me. I used to own a machine shop in Pearland, and I had 2 NCs, 1 CNC, and everything else was just manual engine lathes, turret lathes, stuff like that. But I built 4 enclosures for moon rocks, and the specs on them were, oh my god, the specs on them were so incredibly tight. We're talking 2/10,000ths of an inch on exact.
Yeah. I can
And built
believe
out
that.
of
They want it.
sand.
They want it airtight, don't they?
Well, not just airtight, because we were gonna grab, I mean, dude, there was like 20 different seals they brought to me that I'd never seen, but they were gonna seal it. That wasn't the problem. It was supposed to be visually aesthetic, and they wanted me to do this out of Lexan, and Lexan is just, dude. I've worked with Lexan and acrylics and polymers, and when I started working with Lexan, I'm like, you people are crazy. Why would y'all use this? Because it's not, you can't put it under a vacuum. It looks like it's going to break. Lexan was not what they needed. Plus, it yellowed. In the time I had it in my shop, it yellowed by the time we were done. It was crazy. But hey,
Wow, that's quick.
It was 6 weeks, I think, and we had yellowing. Because it picks up all the contaminants out of the air, and it's like a sponge. It just absorbs everything. Machine shop, lots of oil being vaporized. Yeah. So, but Will, you were talking about that. I mean, what you want to do, what Zach's mentioning there, Langley's actually fucking outstanding, dude. I hope I didn't hurt anybody's ears by using the F word, but
it's basically the only thing they do at Langley now is just wind tunnel testing. They have so many insane wind tunnels.
Yeah, but wind tunnels allow you to test everything.
I might be wrong. I think they've got at least one wind tunnel that can like basically simulate upper atmosphere low pressure situations.
Oh wow!
Really?
I've heard about some research they're doing on atmospheric reentry wind tunnel testing kind of stuff.
Zach, we did some of that stuff. It's been long enough. I'm sure I can talk about some of this stuff, but I worked for Lawrence Livermore Labs in Livermore, California. And the coolest thing is we actually worked with vacuum chambers and high-speed acceleration and winds. The downside of it is there was no way to field test what we did, because every reentry, when you were talking about reentries, were almost different. Everybody's got their finger up. Is Mitch still down? Will? Justin?
Yeah, I can't hear him. He says he'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
Shucks.
Sorry, dude. I'm not trying to take over the conversation.
Nope, you're
but
good.
You guys are all talking in my wheelhouse.
Go on, Jake.
I'm enjoying it.
What I've actually worked with and done in my lifetime, and what I retired from. So, look
I
you
also
there.
appreciate this guest that
That
we
is
have.
a huge cat, man.
Look at that.
Oh yeah. Hey, there's Lacey. I haven't seen Lacey in ages.
Is Lacey the cat?
No, Lacey's the person.
I saw the expression. It was a joke.
Off Axis, if you're still in chat, you have a link coming. All right. Well, I'm finally getting this dang mosquito cleaned out. I've had something wicked inside of it.
Is this like a cold pull clean, or something you got to break down?
It's a mosquito sitting on my bench vise right here, trying to clean it out with anything I have.
Man, good luck.
Done it before. No big deal.
That's a good confidence to have with these things. It's I recently had a Revo nozzle that I was so concerned that I'd gotten something jammed in there that I'd never get out.
Right, I've had that.
And I'm just like, this is too pricey for me to make this sort of mistake.
It can't be a problem if it's liquid.
This is true. Jane's got the best call out. Cleaning filament, I literally buy a roll every few years.
Oh yeah?
And
it's
this will clean it out. Basically, I'm manually heating this thing up with a heat gun all the way, and it'll melt inside. I'll stab it with the there we go. I've got the no clogger that I overpaid for. Just a big rod, and melts right through. So here, let's see. see if I can-
Kidding me? That's very interesting.
What material is that? The clean out material. What is it?
Someone
Probably
just
some sort of nylon, if I were to guess.
joined.
Like
We've got,
with
we
an
got Ian.
abrasive in it?
So basically, I'm going to mute myself, but so I can heat this up. Hold on.
I recently got the chance to try nylon filament for a cold pull, and boy, that stuff pulls beautifully. I didn't know, and now I just have a few snips of nylon, just at the ready.
So what are we doing?
Cleaning out this mosquito hot end, evidently, with cleaning filament, like specialized filament made for cleaning out a hot end.
I've heard of that, but honestly didn't bother to look into it at all. What's supposed to make it so special?
That's something I want to ask Justin about once he's finished with the loud heat gun.
I don't know specifically, but I've been using it for years and I've never had an issue with it.
So what's
Now-
it supposed to be doing?
It's meant to clean out the inside of the hot end all the way up to heat break, especially if you have something stuck to the sides of your heat break. It's meant to help clean that out too. Basically, you heat up the entire hot end and melt it to the edges on the inside and let it cool a bit, shove this through and it cleans it out.
So what, the cleaning filament doesn't melt or something, or
It does. It still melts. I gotta mute. Hold on.
Okay, mic check.
you forgot to mute?
We can hear you, Mitch.
Oh crap, sorry.
Okay, so sorry, this has been stupid. So I have these Logitech headphones I've had for like 6 years, 7 years,
Yep.
8 years. And I think I played with the cable so much that I think I messed up the wires or something. And they're really thin gauge. And then I tried to get the Bluetooth on my AirPods to work. That didn't work. And then I plugged in my Audio Technica ones with the mic. And the mic on the headphone jack doesn't accept it as a mic. So I'm using the camera microphone as my headset, which is stupid. So downstairs, my setup, I have a snowball microphone, and that works way better. But my desk is a mess, and I don't have room for it. So anyway,
Your desk is a mess? Oh my goodness. I'd show you mine, but I'm pretty sure I've got confidential information strewn on it.
I'd show you mine, but that's why I have a fake background. Just like, yeah, that's the way to go.
Oh, yours looks so real.
So NVIDIA Broadcast, it uses a lot of GPU power to make a really good and convincing green screen without. So there's actually nothing behind me.
Oh,
It's
so you
just a
don't
wall.
have a green screen. That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'll show you. If I just blank out, this is the removal.
Yeah.
If I turn it off and completely, it's just my wall behind me.
So you do
Man,
have
I
a
was
consistent
I was going to
surface.
compliment you on your ripcord rack and how nice it looked.
Yeah,
Is that a
that's 'cause-
ripcord rack that you have?
Yeah, so actually, if I turn this off, it's actually just this.
Hey, smart.
So instead of having this video picture right here, I can just take a picture of it and use it as my background replacement.
That's yeah, that's not something I'd ever do.
And this is actually in my apartment. This isn't even where I am now. And this was when it was set up in my apartment, and it has like at least a dozen less polymaker spools on it.
You know what you need to do? You need to take a picture and get some of that ceiling in there too. And then that way, when you're putting it in the background, it looks like the ceiling is just like right above your head.
Yeah.
Really throw people off, especially if you stand up.
Just go straight through.
I live in a hobbit
It's
house.
working. Cleaned it. It's happy.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congrats,
so-
Justin.
It just melting it, letting it get to that point, and then just slamming this through. And Vince says, the other stuff used to be abrasive. I have some abrasive. I just don't know where it is. So,
Yeah. I
That
was
was familiar.
man, I I have a decent amount of glow in the dark filament, and
You
this
need a
makes me
hardened
sad.
nozzle for that one.
You need more than a hardened
Mm,
nozzle, because
Hey,
I was talking
Obsidian
to
will
some
handle
folks
it.
from E3D,
Mhm.
and they told me when I was getting their hardened they're
Revos.
basically their nozzle
Obsidians.
X for the Revo,
Yeah,
or the
obsidian.
Obsidian Revo, is they're like, yeah, like now you can print, all these carbon fibers and stuff. I'm like, yeah, and my glow filament, and they're like, oh, actually, maybe not the glow filament, because it turns out glow filament is so abrasive that
Yeah.
even on hardened steel nozzles, it
Hmm?
will destroy them.
Yeah.
Are you
And
kidding me?
this was news to me. So let this be a public service announcement. You gotta avoid, like, even if you've got a hardened steel nozzle, you gotta make sure that's a hardened steel nozzle you're willing to get rid of after a shorter amount of time, because
Right.
glow in the dark filament is so abrasive that it will wear it down, even with that
Yeah.
hardening.
So 10 points to whoever recognizes where I am right now.
Astro printer.
Ooh.
How did you end up over there? Where is he?
NASA.
Oh.
Hold on, let's see what else I got
back-
here.
None of us are
Sorry.
using real backgrounds anymore.
Yeah, I don't mess with backgrounds. I
It-
how
it-
it's
like-
actually, it's about which one you can actually show, because there's some that I know you have are there.
not so friendly.
Blasto and Dan.
Here we
Yes.
Oh, here's a cool picture.
Maybe.
So this is I never actually went to this facility. The last place I worked, this was their second shop in South Carolina. You see
That's
this?
lovely. Yeah, I do.
These are shafts that go in aircraft carriers and submarines.
Nice.
That's incredible. What's this large black panel in the lower left? Maybe lower right for you.
It looks like just a welding screen.
Oh, cool.
So on the right,
Yeah.
you see the shaft that's the furthest on the right.
Yes.
That's a CNC lathe
What?
that's got like probably 150 foot, 200 foot long bed,
Oh my gosh.
like 72-inch chuck.
I was
Is that
watching
all out
this.
of- Hey Zach, is all that out of 4140?
I'm not sure what material it is.
Go through some carbide there.
Probably, yeah.
Man, I was watching this video yesterday about removing a broken tap out of this $1 million part. It's a nightmare for sure. And the size of this part couldn't fit onto a lathe that I couldn't imagine a lathe that this part fit onto. And now I've seen the lathe that part probably fit on. Wow.
A little culture shock for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
there were some huge machines that company had, like ridiculous. They custom designed a milling machine that actually rides the bed of the lathe, so that you can CNC mill keyways into the side of shafts.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, a portable shaper. That's awesome, dude.
Mine
So-
will-
So how now this actually clamped on the part and rode down it?
No, it rides the bed of the lathe.
Oh, okay.
It sits on the lathe and then rides the lathe.
How
They also-
what's go ahead.
No, what were you about to ask?
What sizes are we talking about here?
Oh, I mean, it's like a Cat 50 spindle and like a put up control, and not a ton of movement. But we're talking about, this is like I think it was started out as like a Betz 72-inch lathe that they CNC'd, and then
That's gigantic.
it's got like 3 bed sections, which is a 72-inch Betz is already huge. And then This is just a portable machine that sits on the ways and then can be moved up and down the ways.
Okay.
That background's
I got you.
totally believable.
Say again.
Dude,
I said that background's totally believable.
Oh yeah. I just
Yeah.
live in the witness.
There you go.
So
Approved.
yeah, another thing neat that they had was when you're remanufacturing these shafts, what you have to do is you have to weld on more material, and then you have to turn it down to get it back to the correct size. So they have a machine that sets up on the bed of the lathe. The lathe spins the parts, and this thing travels with a sub-arc welder, and they spiral on weld with the sub-arc welder for like 15 feet at a time, and then they'll move it down and do it again to get just a solid weld down the whole length of the shaft, and then come back and turn it back down to the correct size.
you
That's
know, we
great.
did that when we were going to do a chrome section for oil fill tools. We would chrome out a section, and a lot of times it would be welded, built up, and then we would turn it back down and then have it re-chromed.
Yeah.
And that was usually on shock subs, but I understand the process you're talking about. And dude, that technology was available 30, 35, 40 years ago, because some of the machines we were using were German machines that from World War II that could do this.
Yeah.
But the stuff we have now, the fact that we're not actually printing with metal right now, I'm really surprised. I kind of hoped it would already be
We
here.
are.
Yeah.
There's one company that's actually 3D printing a spaceship or
there's
a rocket.
Rockets.
It's a rocket. And
there's-
they go, and that's pretty dadgum cool to watch the couple of it.
That's
What?
it right there.
Right
on my
there.
phone.
Yeah. It's supposed to be part of the Orion.
No,
I don't
this
know.
is what is the name of this company?
I don't know, but I'm sure we could find them on Google search really quick.
Yeah, there's
Rel-
also a former race
Relativity
car.
Space.
Oh.
No, not Rocket Lab. Relativity Space. Their rocket by weight was 85% 3D printed.
Yeah, and then
Wow.
there's a company that's doing 3D printing metal. It's a former NASCAR, I think it's Hendricks. There's a New York CNC video that they actually did a tour of their facility, and that was actually pretty neat to see. You know, like them actually doing production parts and stuff.
I just need a small investment of $1 million, and I'll start one.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, pocket change, right?
Yeah, and should be easy.
Green
Yeah,
Day,
it's
I'll
funny,
just
the
start
company-
I'll start a mobile app that I can get YouTubers to sponsor YouTubers, and
but I
make sure
mean,
we get a bunch of people addicted to it.
you go, just you start a YouTube channel. You're already there. You go, now build it up. You get 1 million subscribers, and you convince every one of them to give you just $1,
Yeah,
and then you're in business.
It's it.
Easy, right?
Or
Ooh,
you could
that is
yeah.
quite the
do a
flexure. Or
Kickstarter.
quite the
I'm sure there's enough
print.
crazy people out there that would back it. Oh, outstanding.
look at that.
Nice, Zach.
Did you wait for us to pop that off the board? What
It
a
just
treat.
finished.
Ah, congrats.
Will.
Here we thought you
Yeah,
were
what's up?
treating us special.
So I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, the hinges.
When did you get a
and they stay
2.4?
open?
I've had one.
Oh yeah. It was Justin that was building the Trident.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you had tried it.
I think everybody has a 2.4
You-
at some point.
Right.
You also don't have the magnets to hold it closed. It's entirely the hinges.
Yep.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Nice.
I gotta
thanks for
do.
showing us that.
I still gotta print the magnet part for it and put it on there because that'll just be that extra thing on there. But yeah, that's
great. I have a question about your camera angle right now.
Mhm.
It looks like you have one of those screwdrivers that I would get at promotional.
Yeah, the tool truck ones.
yeah.
Yeah, like, is
The
that just stuck
KB3D.
on magnetically, or?
Yeah, it's a magnet on the end. That's why it's,
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's from
Do you just-
KB3D. I've got a couple of those around.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I do too.
I've got
I might
one
have a
that's
couple.
a 2.5 millimeter hex drive. Super useful.
Yeah, like these
Yeah.
screwdrivers, like I use them so much. This is like the perfect size for the control board screws and everything.
Oh my gosh, that's a very long snake.
Yeah, keep in mind I'm 6'3".
Okay. It's wonderful that it holds up under its own weight.
So this is about 7 foot long.
Jeez.
Jeez.
What was that printed on?
2.4 350.
I need to print
And-
one of those.
Oh,
It's tricolor silk.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, very nice.
I think
need
I'm
to
gonna
mess
build a
around with that
350.
tricolor.
Yeah.
I,
Mitch, I'll print
I-
you the parts. The
yeah,
V0 will take a decade to print.
that would be funny though. But well, I have two of
You
them
have
now,
two of
so
them.
actually,
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
could.
Take
It would
half
take
the
me
time.
5 years. Yeah.
yeah. Or you just
The biggest
talk to
issue
me.
is the $1,000 of parts that I gotta buy.
Yeah, just do a Trident kit. I mean, or not. do
But you can do a 350 Trident now.
You can
right?
on AliExpress.
Is that not recommended?
Yeah.
LVO doesn't offer one yet, so
Yeah, but
There
I
you go.
meant standard. I meant if I self-source is what I'm saying.
You go.
right.
Seaboard-
Self-source is going to run you $2,000 by the time you're done.
Is it just
Seaboard,
because of Amazon
Uh,
parts, or can I?
General, when you don't get them in a kit, they're more expensive.
Seaboard has a
You're a
350
local
kit.
maker.
It's $1,100, I think.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at it.
I go. What's funny is, he said LDO doesn't have the 350. Well, Seaboard doesn't have the 250. I think it's a conspiracy.
Oh.
To me, I would just get it as big as I can possibly get a printer. Like, I don't see the point of having a small printer anymore because I have like 5 small printers. Like, I have enough small
Wait a
printers
minute.
that
Let's
they're
get you a
useless.
couple more V0s.
They're useless unless you have like. But that's why I'm trying to get. Well, they're not useless. I'm just saying.
You should do
They're
a
useless
giveaway at
because
the next event.
Yeah,
and
there we go.
Enter it yourself.
And then win it, like, and that way I could say I won 3 times in a row.
Yeah, that seems very moral.
I'll support
Love
that at Rocky Mountain.
Wait, so you want another 4 on 0?
Yeah, he won one
No,
at Murph.
I really don't. I honestly would like.
No, I
That's fine.
wasn't at Murph, so
I'm thinking about doing. That's why I'm going to do an automatic bed loader for my V0s because I
So-
think it's,
He
Oh.
won one at Murph.
you won a V0 2 Murphs in a row.
yes,
No, it was Earth and Murph.
an Earth and Murph. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah, okay, yeah.
But yeah, so Rocky Mountain there wasn't a contest for. At least I don't think there was a
No,
V0 contest,
Jason was doing
but there was a Trident. Yeah, no, I'm pretty lucky, but again, like not having a big printer, I have a big Delta printer, but that's a 300 diameter, which is not the same as the 350 square.
Yeah, I've been kicking around the idea of selling my V0. I don't get a whole lot of use out of it.
a buyer. His name's Mitch.
Well, there you go. I can have a third one.
It's the Dueling Dragon IDEX.
That's
V0.
cool, but I don't know if I would use it that much. Like, do you use the IDEX part of it, or is it just kind of? a
I
toy?
mean, I don't use it because I don't need it. I've got an AMS, you know.
Yeah, and I'm refreezing to buy a Bamboo Labs printer, so
Yeah.
I would much
Yeah.
rather take an IDEX.
So I'm planning on building a Trident.
That's a cool printer.
Before. That's really cool.
So they're both CAN bus head.
Oh wow.
You were thinking about selling that?
Yeah.
How much you want for it?
I don't know.
I think that's at least 1,000. I
There you go.
can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Think
That's
about
a
it.
lot of work.
After the stream, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're interested, make me an offer.
I hate
It's
making
a-
offers. I always
So-
like to be the one.
So one of the cool things is this
The
is
price is
all
right. $1, Bob.
$1. Yeah.
the it's CAN bus. Both heads are CAN bus. They are mini after Sherpas with
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Rebos in both heads. And
Oh,
they'll
wow,
come with a
nice.
full set of Revo nozzles for both heads.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
So,
what a treat.
and then
That'd be a nice machine for that size.
So is it a?
and the top hat is one piece. The extended top hat instead of the normal. Though the original designers glued it together, I just put everything into one, so it's a one-piece top hat.
That's pretty slick. So I saw the dual heads in there. I
Yeah.
haven't come across that design before, and I think I'm behind most of the folks here. Does it have a tool switcher, or are they both independently driven?
It's all right. You ready for a massive mindfuck here?
Okay.
It has 3 steppers for X and Y for 2 heads. The kinematics are
Oh,
it's Tridex.
that's very clever. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, you weren't kidding. That's
Trippy.
that's very trippy. I love that because it gets rid of the entire like positioning,
So
problem.
I actually have 4 steppers in mind, but 2 of them work in unison.
Oh my gosh.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. Thinking about that hurts my head a little.
It's
What
so
a
cool to
clever
watch it
system.
run.
I bet.
Yeah.
It essentially, so your active head has full XY movement, but then your inactive head has to mirror only the Y movements.
Yeah.
So when it homes, do they both knock against the same
Nope.
side or opposite sides?
One homes to the right, one homes to the left, and then it homes in the back.
That seems right.
And because
What a
it's got dual
treat.
motors, there's dual end stops in the back to de-rack the gantry.
And you're
because
thinking about selling this.
It's technically over-constrained. The gantry's over-constrained. So the way I have it set up to home is it will home left, right, back.
Okay.
And when it
yeah.
homes back, it's looking
Okay.
for both left and right to de-rack.
All right. Here's the deal. I've got a V0 right now, and I just got it, and I'm still playing with it. But I want to build a 350 millimeter Trident next. I'm actually going to try and self-source, as Justin said. But the thing is, I've basically
Justin
been
shakes his head.
accumulating 3D printer parts for years. I've got piles of extrusion, screws, and
So
stuff. I
This-
basically think I can do it for $500.
this right here was exactly that. Take my advice, unless you have a way to very accurately cut the frame, order the frame. A frame, even if you've got a ton of extrusion, you will have a better end result if you order a frame that's precision cut.
I'm anti-extrusion, so I'm thinking if I build one, I'm doing it with square tubing, and just to do it out of spite.
I have been pondering.
I think
the
I could build one.
issue for cutting it. I've got a couple of ideas. I know, normally I cut aluminum, I just throw it up on your standard miter saw, but I realize that's not going to cut it for the precision I need.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of ideas.
Yeah, and I mean the frames aren't too expensive. It's like $100 maybe.
Yeah,
you
but
can get
I've got like 50 pounds of aluminum T extrusion lying around here. That's a lot of boron frames.
You're talking about 2020 or 2525. What is it now?
I've got it in a couple of different sizes. I've got a lot of 2020, but I got some 15, and I've got some 30 as well.
Is it V or T slot?
Where did that 30 go? Most of it's V. There is some T.
I would suggest only going with T slot.
Why is that?
You can have some issues with part fit up because everything that they've made is designed for T, not V.
Yeah, they have
So
little
it's a
notches
standards
that
thing.
Centered it.
Yeah.
The other thing is the linear rails are not going to lay flat on them usually, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking about going with square tubing, because I could just rigidly mount the rails onto it, and all I have to do is modify a few parts to get it to work.
So if I use the T slot for where the rails go, that fixes that problem. There you go. And then I'm pretty sure I can overcome any other part issue. They've got the step files posted up, right? I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah,
I
we
just
do.
going to modify it to fit the V extrusion.
But the linear rails is going to be the problem
Why is that the problem?
because they're not going to sit flat. If you're doing MGN9, you're going to have issues.
No, I was just saying I could use the T slot for the linear rail pieces.
And the V slot for everything else.
Oh,
Make sure you do the
so
drop in.
I didn't tell y'all why I'm like got every printer I own running right now. Weekend after next, there's a tattoo festival a town over from me, and I'm setting up and selling 3D printed stuff.
Hey, good
Sweet.
luck.
I hopped
That's
on
excellent.
a couple Patreons, and I've been scouring the web for free commercial stuff.
Well, wish
You
you the
gonna
best
get a
on
tattoo?
that, Zach. I hope you do well.
It started out. I was splitting the booth with a friend who hand makes jewelry, and she had to back out. So now I've got the whole booth to myself. The idea was my wife, who's a massage therapist, was going to set up and do chair massage, but she's only going to be able to do like half of the second day and then the third day. So I'm double the price in for the booth that I expected to be. So I've got a long way to make up.
That's pretty exciting. Oh my gosh.
I joined Lightspeed's Patreon.
keep your booth safe.
I'm not a big fan of Lightspeed the person, but he's got some really good designs.
I'm not familiar. Well,
so,
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
so
you're not a fan of him as a person, I don't necessarily want to get too into that.
No, I'm not going to go into that.
Okay.
But yeah, so you shove a beer bottle, a 12-ounce beer bottle in here, and then you screw the bottom in. So you screw the bottom in, and then it's got an adjuster to push it up, and then you unscrew the top.
And it's a koozie. That's very charming. Oh man.
So this is. I'm sure this is going to go over great.
He has the V8 can cooler, which is pretty cool. I like that one.
I would print one of those. That's a lot of print.
So I'm assuming that's what the snake is for too. Is that going to be a?
Yeah. So that's I don't remember where I got that design, but I pulled it apart and re-engineered it to be that gigantic size.
Right.
Like the original's like this long. So I re-engineered it to be 7 fucking feet long.
So did you have the source files, like the CAD for that, or were you in there
I pulled
like
apart the
tinkering with the?
Wow,
that is some work.
Because when you open up the STL, because of the design, it's individual solids, right?
Right. Okay.
So
did you just go through and duplicate them, or
duplicate, change the scale, and change the position so everything was still interlinked?
That's a lot of work.
Forever, man.
That sounds like a lot. Woo. I saw How to Texan showing something off that I'm very curious about. What is this?
Guess what I'm making.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me guess, because this seems like a very difficult to guess thing. It looks like a cross between some sort of generator and a birthday cake.
Okay, so what I'm holding in my hand is the entire build is over 100 printed parts, and you're only looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of them.
I like Kit Skyfire's guess, which is a complicated egg beater.
A complicated egg beater. There you go.
It's a sock knitting machine, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, local maker may have gotten it.
What did he guess?
A sock knitter.
There you go. You know, I can definitely see where you might get that, but no, it's not that either.
Okay.
There you go. I'll give you a hint. Help narrow down the category a little. So it has to deal with mathematics.
Ooh, okay. I mean,
Anti-
in our industry,
Antikythera mechanism.
A what?
there
Is it
you
the
go.
Antikythera mechanism? Ugh.
No. A little more recent than that.
Enigma machine.
Oh,
Hey.
is it a physical calculator? Like
It
the
is.
you're building one? That's fantastic. Those are so incredible. I
There you
saw
go.
that someone like released a model for
Well,
one, and I
They
What's
did
sad
it.
is
made
I
more
knew what he
sense.
was building, so I couldn't just spit it out. But
Right, right.
I was happy to hear all the guesses. They were insane.
There you go.
So
So
here's
this is that physical model you're talking about. It's called the Curta calculator.
Yeah.
And it basically looks something like a coffee grinder with number dials on the side of it. And over 100 pieces, it's almost entirely 3D printed. There's some screws, some nuts, a few springs, and where's the bill of materials? I don't know. It's got a long bill of materials here. Springs, nuts, bolts, some ball bearings.
I'm assuming
Everything else is
Zacchaeus
3D printed.
is printing something similar. Is that
no. So this is
okay?
I got on 3D Printing World's Patreon as well. These are his replaceable blade lightsabers.
Wow.
Oh,
So
pretty
that's
clutch. All right.
that's Leia and Mace Windu were the two designs there. And I'll show you the color I've got for the Mace Windu lightsaber. It's Polymaker Metallic Magenta.
Ooh.
Oh, it's gonna
Man.
look cool.
Hey, How to Texan, while he's showing us this filament, would you mind bringing up like the page that shows the completed project for the calculator? Because I'd be curious to see that.
I actually
if you
have it
could
open
present
because I
that.
keep having to recognize it. He reference it.
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna bounce
screen,
out,
right?
man. I gotta get out to the garden. I got stuff to do, but I'm gonna see you guys later. Mitch, are you? I haven't heard you actually speak yet. You good to go?
What?
You what? Yeah, okay. That works too.
No, just at work has been really bad lately, so
And
I haven't streamed or done any projects or anything. I'm just playing Zelda right now.
What have I done?
Right.
It's better now, but I don't know. I'm
Right.
always looking for work, but St. Louis isn't really the best area for any of that. But I'm not moving.
Well, Dwight,
I was
go
about
have
to say-
fun.
Come out to Virginia.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my mom. I think it's hotter and more humid.
Yeah, hey, I'm with you there,
Not a fan.
guys. I'm out. Chunk in peace, whatever the term is, y'all use it. You guys have fun. I'm
No
gonna go out and
cap,
play in the
Riz.
dirt for a little bit.
Always a
good
treat
luck.
to speak.
All right,
with
Dwight,
you.
have fun.
See you
We'll
around.
see you next time, bud. Thanks for hopping in.
All right, buddy. See y'all.
So this is the coffee grinder calculator, the Curta calculator. So I first saw this years ago on Adam Savage's Tested, where he'd gotten one, and he was just, I don't know if you Adam Savage from MythBusters, he's a collector of the eclectic.
Yes,
They
he
go,
is.
well, he got one of these, and he was totally jazzed about it. And I was like, I want one. So naturally, I hop on eBay and look for relics of the past. And I wasn't about to drop $600 on something.
God.
That fit up on my shelf.
Yeah.
But I found the 3D printed files that have been put together. It's a bit challenging. The parts aren't that expensive. All of the material and stuff, you're in it for like $100. The main problem is some of the springs, I could not find a local supplier for them, so I'm having to order them all out of China.
Right.
Which means I've got to wait a month for the springs, and some of the things conflict. I think updates have been done over time to the design, and not necessarily all the instructions were updated to match it. So there's a bit of confusion, a bit of trial and error with some of the parts. Fortunately, I haven't had to reprint any of the major components yet, but the build is still young, so who knows?
Right.
The guy is actually active, and you can reach out to him with any questions. He's very friendly and actually enjoys talking about it, it seems like. There's even a Discord specifically related to the 3D printed Curta calculator.
Man, what a beautiful piece of history. It's such a cool mechanical device. I'm glad I know someone now who's making one.
They go, and I'll be bringing it up to the Rep Rap festivals. Am I going to see you at Remurf?
You are. I'm gonna try and, bring my work to a better place so I can present a good representation of my design.
Is anybody going to East Coast?
I might. I don't know yet. I want to, but I haven't made my decision.
Gotta drive.
East Coast is easy for me. It's like 2.5 to 5 hours, depending on traffic.
I would like to, but I just can't.
Yeah, you can't. That's for sure.
When is it again? It's later this year?
September 30th and October
September.
1st.
Okay.
If you do decide you want to go, Will, we can talk about travel.
Maybe. Probably not.
I
gotta. Oh boy. My life is in a different place right now. Maybe another year.
Yeah.
IRF is a little different, man. IRF it's got real big
show.
trade show vibes.
Yeah.
Really?
It's vendor heavy.
More trade show than Rocky Mountain.
That's
very interesting.
Probably because it's more, I don't want to say organized, controlled. More controlled due to where the physical location actually is.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's like the basketball gym of a Christian college.
Huh.
Smaller Christian college. So it's a smaller space. It's very vendor heavy. I mean, there's really cool stuff there. That was the first place I think I saw the 5-axis Prusa.
Ooh.
So there's really some cool stuff there, but it's much smaller.
Oh, before I forget, I got some exciting news just from like a couple of hours ago or so. My 3D printed boat. Y'all remember? So I'm printing it in pieces, obviously. Y'all remember what I told you I'm trying to do for putting it all together, right?
Yeah, did they actually do
They go, well, I've got a message today from Gloop, and they're sending me my first container of Gloop. There you go.
Those guys are so cool.
Yeah, he's only sending me one for right now, which
makes sense.
I don't know if it's probably not going to be enough to finish it.
Is it the mega Gloop or is it the mini?
He didn't say. I go, and that's fine, because regardless of what size it is, it'll have the ounces on the container, and I'll be able to calculate how far the ounces go and then figure out how much I need to do the rest of the project.
Right.
Yeah. What plastic are you printing that out of?
It's all PLA.
Oh, PLA. Okay.
It's not meant for heavy use or a lot of use.
Hopefully it'll be water cooled.
They go. Justin here says I have to spend all the money to seal it in clear epoxy so everybody can see all the colors from every angle. I was going to go cheap and just paint it. And he says I can't do that. There you go. So I guess I got to shell. I either have to find a sponsor for that or shell out a few $100s in epoxy.
Jeez. Like you'd have your own pretty wild dazzle camo.
There you go. I want you to imagine it though. You got this piece. There's like 5 different colors here. And you go, but the whole boat just done up in like 100-something different colors of filament. And I go all clear coated and sealed. And now I want you to imagine it at the Rep Rap Festival next to the booth where kids can come up and sit in it, and parents take pictures of their kids in it.
I recognize how that would really highlight how the power of 3D printing. However, just imagining the aesthetic of this boat gives me so much stress, and I please don't let me be there when you do this. I need it to be a cohesive color scheme.
Oh man, hold on. Well, so did you see my prototype filament buffer design here?
Oh God! Choose a color.
It is cohesively incohesive.
Yeah, I mean that is a look for 3D printed objects. Like, yeah,
It was a using up my filament roll ends. But
yeah,
then the problem continues. Look at all that nice red and black.
yeah. Oh, it's the skirt. The skirt's a different color. I hate to tell you, I know you probably haven't noticed yet, but the skirt's a different color.
Right, here, Will, check this out. You're going to love this. Ready?
All right. Is that a sarcastic? I'm going to love this.
See it on the right?
Oh, gosh. Like,
let me redeem myself. Let me redeem myself.
Okay, so to be fair,
I just
like that was a cohesive color scheme. When you're talking about the realm of color schemes, there are palettes that
I like that color.
Oh yeah, I do. I like the gray and purple.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
the
that's
pastel.
why I do this. The gray and you've seen my
So-
color scheme as
Okay,
the
yeah.
Black
vaporwave.
bottom, silver.
Oh
top.
yeah, Mitch, nice.
The only way this boat's going to wind up a cohesive color is if Nick jumps in and says, "Hey, I really like this idea. Let me send you 50 spools of identical material."
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
I mean, here's my question: if y'all were to print to be restricted to one color and material for the rest,
Purple ABS.
what would it be? Purple
Gray.
ABS?
ASA. Purple ASA.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
I'd go with
Why ASA?
Because it's better than ABS.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
most things.
for sure. Why not like PetG though?
Because it's brittle and it's brittle. Well, I'm using PetG for my CNC machine because it's stiffer than ABS. You really should be using PLA for my CNC, but I don't. The temperature is a problem. So, yeah, but also like just purple because everything I have is purple. I have like a dozen purple filaments.
There's literally nothing purple on your screen right
Well,
I'm pretty partial to purple myself.
You look like you have more of a beautifully carved wood aesthetic in your lovely home.
yeah, it's all Pantone.
Yeah.
Colors. No, this is actually, I would love to live in a place like this. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'd like to even own a home. That would be nice too. But other than that,
Talk
we
about
can
car
color, the color with like purple is a little too much. That's a really cool. Wait, you made that?
Yeah.
Is that wood or fake wood? Oh
It's
wow.
red
Did you
oak.
CNC it?
Yep.
Out of what
lovely.
machine?
ShopBot PRS Alpha.
I've heard
Yeah,
good
one at
things about
work.
the ShopBot.
Yeah, this was back when I worked
Oh man, if I
for
could,
the Army.
I would sell those like hardcore on Etsy right now. But my CNC is like that close.
So,
Well, that and like tooling and programming, but
Will, you're
Right.
really going to get a kick out of this.
Okay.
You will never in a million years guess how this was designed.
3D cells, right?
I would guess something like ZBrush or Blender, like sculpting.
Nope.
No, okay.
Nope.
Was it designed
Was
with
it-
one of those new AI things from a
Nope.
picture?
Was
Nope.
it
This-
hand
I
carved
did this
and
in-
then scanned?
Nope. I
Autodesk.
did this in 2020.
SketchUp.
Nope.
Tinkercad.
2020. What would that
Wait.
be?
You are talking.
Photoshop.
Oh, did they have a 3D?
What?
And it wasn't using Photoshop's 3D tools either. So what
So
I did
was it
was I took a
the grayscale
SVG.
image?
Yeah, I took a SVG and I did a manual grayscale height map.
Oh, height
Brought it
maps.
into Aspire, and then
Yeah,
did
well,
the
Aspire
height.
is really good with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I
That's
would honestly
really
consider
clever.
buying a copy of it. It's really expensive, but it's like worth it if you are doing more than like hobby
Like, oh, you
stamps and
can't
stuff.
buy a copy of it anymore. You buy a yearly license for
Oh.
all of their software now. And
Oh,
okay,
even
For
VCarve,
what software is
There-
this?
Aspire, VCarve, or Aspire,
Huh.
depends on which level you buy. But basically, it's really good cam
Aspire,
software.
I thought you were talking about Adobe.
Oh no, I wouldn't buy Adobe products.
Huh.
I'm talking about the Aspire VCarve or
I
Aspire
think
Pro.
Adobe's kind of full of themselves. Their PDF viewer, I mean, I like it. I really do. But
I'd rather get a Finium.
$100 a year for their PDF viewer and editor, $180 a year. I can get the entire Microsoft suite along with a terabyte of online cloud storage for $70 a year. There you go. And that suite is literally every daily essential for an office space except the PDF viewer. It has everything else as a daily essential for your office suite.
You
Adobe's
know
for themselves.
how locked down they have the licensing for using the PDF format in general. It's horrific. Like, you have to pay them licensing fees, very expensive licensing fees, if your application even works with PDF. It's atrocious. I mean, it's a miracle that
How people
DXF
listen in open
doesn't have
source
this problem.
format?
I don't think PDF is open source. Especially
I don't know. I meant, why isn't there a competing open source format
I'm
like
pretty sure
OOT?
PDF is an open source format.
I like.
Let's just Google.
Well,
because Open Office supports it,
I'm
and there's
pretty
no
sure
way
they-
Open Office is
Yep,
paying
PDF
for a
is
license.
the PDF format is an open standard.
That's wild. Okay, I may have heard this incorrectly then.
Well,
I love hating on
possible
Adobe,
that
so
it wasn't
I'm susceptible
at one
to that.
point. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, how all of us are probably guilty of doing it at least once. We hear something or know something, and it is true, but years later we're saying it as if it's true, but we
Yeah.
haven't fact-checked for
It
years.
may not be
Oh,
that
sure.
the format that working with the format is what's licensed. It may be that they have their own like code for working with it that they license.
I see. Yeah, like
it
always thought
says it's
PDF
licensed. According to Wikipedia, it is a licensed royalty-free format, royalty-free use
Uh-oh.
in developing software. So it is royalty-free
Justin,
use.
you're getting rated.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, people actually watch this channel? Oh, hey. So much for a raid.
Digital Raid.
Who raided you?
And him a link. Digital Dragon.
Oh, hey, the Free Heathen. Yeah, I like his content.
No, different guy.
He makes a lot of really cool models and stuff.
Digital Dragon.
Welcome, y'all.
So, Will, did you ever see my VR rifle stock?
No, I have a VR headset, and I've seen all of these. These peripherals that.
So this is my own design that I never published.
Ooh.
So this was the original, and then I went to this design, which is just as rigid, but prints without supports.
Oh,
and
that's
it
very clever.
Uses heat sets instead of
Thank
trying
you
to
for
clamp.
the raid.
Oh,
And
that's
then
good.
It's dovetailed together with one on one side and two on the other side.
So which
So-
headset or controllers is this designed for?
If you get these cups
Those are
and modify it
Quest, I
to fit
think.
the rail, anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great because it's a modular system.
That's a cool design.
Fantastic.
And I mean, you know, I printed one of the ones. This was like 2019. I printed one of the ones that was online and it would work great, and then it would just disintegrate because the way it was attached together sucked. So I designed this. I need to find the files for it and publish them.
I bought an HTC Vive, and I was using it for a while. Every day, loved it, especially some Beat Saber. I loved some Beat Saber. I actually had some top 100. I had one top 100 score out of the whole world. I don't remember what song it was, but I had a top 100 spot for a while, and I was in the top 1,000 on a lot of songs.
Nice.
I love that game. But I packed up my setup and took it to a party, and I let a whole bunch of people play it. Everything was working fine.
Yep.
All through the party. And the party was over. It was still working. I packed it all away, brought it home, set it up again. I could never get it to work again.
I'm so sorry. Like, especially
video,
it's so odd that it
was
in that transit.
You got Digital
I spent
Dragon.
weeks
What's going on, buddy?
trying to get it working.
Man,
I'm gonna find the files for that right now and post it.
I think you should publish it. I know
Not
some
too bad,
folks-
man. How's everything going?
Not too
Hey.
bad.
So, Zach, so this is a project I'm working on right now.
Ooh,
It's gonna be a light.
Oh,
That's cool.
Delightful.
Yeah, I'm working on figuring out the diffusion of it.
Is that from Zelda?
So you know how like the blade glows in the beginning of the game? I kind of
Yeah.
like that. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
make a blade for the wall that's gonna glow.
Yeah, that looks
It
pretty cool.
would be so cool if you printed the blade part out of glow in the dark and you put UV lights in it, and that way when you turn out the light, kill the UV lights, and the blade is just glowing up on the wall in the dark. That would be awesome. I swear, are you going over to your wall to pull out something about something I just said?
You always do this.
Yes.
It's very impressive every time.
Yeah. So you see how this is white?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna switch over to some black lights here.
Some UV light that you just happen to have lying around, of course.
Yeah.
You do this every stream. I mention something and you just go and pull it off your shelf. Admittedly, glow in the dark filament and a UV light isn't
Sure. Hand in hand.
Yeah,
that big of
I'll
a
message
deal,
him.
but you
Wait.
always do
Tactile,
that.
I'll find.
Can you
need
see
to
the?
just-
Oh, you're not gonna be able to see the color difference. Dang it! This is not a glow in the dark, but it's a UV change filament.
Oh, I see.
It changes
Like
color and UV.
UV reactive.
Tactile,
Yeah.
check your Twitch.
I'm moderately sure that sorry to interrupt. I'm moderately sure that the UV reactive filament has some glow in the dark particulate in it because I got some very similar UV reactive filament back in the day and printed a little stand for something on the wall. And it was very distracting because it glowed about as much as those glow in the dark stars you put on your ceiling when you're a kid. And that was quite the surprise because I was trying to black out all of the stuff that was glowing in my room.
You know,
And I'm like, ah, shucks. I made
had
this
some of
huge
those
print.
stars. They go, those stars would just glow forever, it seemed. You know, they go 3D printed glow in the dark stuff. I wish it glowed even 10% as long as those stars seem to glow. Those things
Oh my
were
gosh.
amazing.
Yeah. Man, I've been holding off on all of these glow in the dark filaments that I've collected just for that oh, SolidWorks, nice. Just because I want to get some cheap hardened steel nozzles before I go through those with the 3D printed glow.
There you go. The most expensive nozzle I own is a ruby nozzle.
Oh, you went for a ruby.
I hate it.
Well, I got a good deal on it. It was $30, and that thing's has had no problems, and I've run carbon fiber and glow in the dark and wood fill and just
wow.
about every other type of I think the only abrasive that comes to mind that I haven't run through it is glass fill.
I mean, glass fill has got to be less abrasive than carbon, right?
I've
Although
got no
I'm not
idea.
sure. Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
hey, bring me
that's-
back
that's
to
great.
SolidWorks, Justin. I'm gonna show this to Will real quick.
But I was thinking
yeah.
of
They
playing
should
around
have
with the nozzle.
they should have garnet filled PLA so that it can be even more abrasive.
Oh boy,
So-
I don't know why my
Hold on,
screen's all
hold on,
blown up.
hold on. I'm working on it.
I was
It
thinking
wouldn't
about
be even good if you had
solid
garnet. The garnet would make it weaker.
those would be just about indestructible, but they're like $100.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I've been
No,
very
thanks.
attracted to those tungsten nozzles ever since I heard about them. I love your chamfer work. I love your consistent, consistent. I wish.
Consistency.
So this is designed to print laying down. That's fine. There's nothing wrong
Okay,
with that.
sure.
This rail prints best and works best when it's printed in this orientation. So that's why I
Yeah.
have the triangles and diamonds. So you can print this just like this and not need support.
I like the triangle and diamond patterning that you have on there for the support list. I haven't seen something patterned like that before, and the aesthetic is very striking. Very, it brings this this feeling of
Like almost a
intentional
fractal look.
technology. Yeah, it clearly has intention behind it, and people will see that. But it's also an attractive pattern, just visually.
Right.
So it's got this very alluring look.
So what do you do your design work in?
Fusion
I'm transitioning from Fusion to Onshape.
So I'm gonna put this on my printables and I'm gonna upload step files. I'm not doing STLs anymore.
Oh
I'm
yeah, no, I think
protesting-
that's a good idea.
I am protesting STLs. If I ever upload anything from now on, it's always going to be a step.
Yeah. Well, now that we have
Because-
step import, it's not worth
Why are you
uploading
protesting FPLs?
because it's hard to
because
edit.
step is vastly better.
Hey everyone.
You
It's
get
also a
better
smaller
resolution.
file too.
Yeah, smaller file. You get better resolution, so you can determine how faceted you want your part to print.
Yep.
You can edit it much easier.
So I had a dream with steps where it would also convey the part history, the constraints, the sketches, the full content, the source of the document. And
Have you ever seen Siemens NX in use before?
no, I don't know what that is.
Oh my God! Hold on.
Okay, is this my
So it's
dream?
on Siemens in the word.
Hold on.
I want a standardized file type for parametric history-based modeling, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get it. Yeah, I guess.
So Siemens NX is very absurdly powerful CAD, like crazy powerful. I'm about to give you an example. Let's see. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So first things first, I am going to save out as a step. Looks pretty good, huh?
That snake is a good look.
Yeah, I'm doing one in a green right now. Okay, so I've got the step file. Let's see here. Siemens NX. So NX is what my last job used. We went from Inventor to NX.
Okay.
NX is what General Dynamics Electric Boat and Huntington Ingalls both use for all of their CAD stuff.
So it's a full CAD package.
Right.
I like the interface. It's a good look.
It's very consistent across everything that you do. Some of the stuff is a little weird, doesn't make sense. If you're used to working in other systems, it can be a little bit of a headache.
Is it the same sort of process, just buttons in different places, or
Yeah,
is it a whole new
just
workflow?
it's slightly different workflows.
Okay.
Like you don't select dimension and then put a dimension on something. You click and then you click two objects in a sketch and then it pops up for a dimension and you can click that dimension and it'll make it. And there's
Okay.
also instead
Yeah.
of relations and no relation, there's two different levels of relations. There's inferred relations and persistent relations. And there's a hierarchy system where when you draw something out, it's going to have, I could say this line's concentric with this line. Unless I turn on persistent, a dimension can break that relation.
Whoa. Oh, wow. Okay.
Once you understand how that works, sketching is a lot easier. Before
So it's like
that, it's a nightmare.
It's like an intentional over constraining of a sketch kind of thing.
It's basically you have two levels of constraints. You have soft and firm.
Oh, I like that.
It has its uses. It's a little weird.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you ready? So this is a step file.
Yep.
Are you ready to have your mind just blown out the back of your head?
I
No,
have high
I
hopes right
mine.
now.
Move.
Oh, are you just gonna move like individual elements of it? Like, can you move that screw hole closer? Oh, you're just gonna move all the faces, huh?
It's not just the faces. It's hold on. Let me redo this. I'm gonna go up here.
See, this is why working with step files is better than
And
STLs
I
or
am
any
going
mesh.
to do boss or pocket faces. So I click in there,
Uh-huh.
and then I click in there, and then give me a vector. Let's do. This is a vector. No, wait a minute. You got to be real careful when you're selecting stuff, or you will mess yourself up good.
I'd imagine.
There are so many different pieces of design software out there. So I tried to find how much that software you're showing costs, and I got scared because they don't have it listed on their website. They said contact sales, and I'm like, oh man, they gotta have a sales associate convince me that it's worth the price.
It's steep. It's very steep.
Yeah. I go.
So I can move. I can delete.
$5,000 a year, according to something I Googled here.
$279 a month.
That's cheap for a
that's not
business.
including like the 40.
Oh, the advance, yeah. So just pay a car payment every month, and you can have access to
What
it.
else can I do here? I can resize whole.
Oh man. So
Whole
just
depth.
effortless step file.
This is called synchronous modeling. So move works on faces as well. So I can pick this face and I can.
You can push pull it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a delight.
You can replace. So if you have a surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you draw in another surface, you can replace one surface with another, and it'll heal it up.
Wow. Okay. So it keeps the what is a watertight model? A
manifold.
Manifold. Yeah. So it keeps a manifold?
Yep.
Wow, that is a real treat.
Resize chamfer.
You know what also was really good was 123D design. That had a lot of really cool features. I don't know if you can't really get any.
Edit cross section, intersects a face set and a plane, and then modifies the model by modifying section curves. So you can actually change the cross section of a part, and it'll translate it to long. Just amazing, amazing power. When you're working with step files, this is the way to go.
I'd like to show you guys something that's completely different than what you might have seen in the past. And I believe I mentioned it last time, but didn't.
All right, I gotta head out of here. I'll see you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Tinkercad's kind of a messy.
I mean,
modeler, though.
one seat of this software probably costs the development budget of Tinkercad.
All right. This is Trimble Creator, and it's a node-based
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
CAD software. And the best thing about it is the parametric interface for changing these files once you make them with this generator.
That's cool.
And you can see the, let's see if I can change this to, pop this way. So it starts with some primitives, and you can select various nodes along these. You can also organize them in various ways. But as you go down this this path of nodes, you can start to see how they are assembled together. For instance, all of the material assignments in this section right here. And I love that they add, if you mouse over any of these connections, they're either geometry connections or data connections. The thick lines are geometry, the thin lines are data. And you can easily mark down each piece of this model, and then through the stages, you can arrive at this drastically parametric model that's also very lightweight because it's running on the SketchUp kernel.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
That's fascinating.
How much is that? That looks expensive too.
Free, and it's in
Is
beta
it?
right now.
Like free, or like free as in not commercial free?
It's free, just like SketchUp is free, I believe.
Oh, wow.
It is by the same developers as Trimble's SketchUp.
Yeah.
And I've been on a call with them, and I let's see, what was I? We can try and find the thing that I was working on. I don't remember the name of it though, and I can't be asked to have my memory work right now. But they're a real treat to hang out with and work in this wonderful software that they've developed. And it's such a treat to see another parametric history-based modeling software that has such a completely different workflow than anything else I've ever seen.
So
So
there's no way to drag and drop like geometry, right? You have to do it through the nodes.
You have to do it through the nodes, which I prefer. I think
Which
that
is cool. Yeah.
there's a place for working with primitives and drag and dropping primitives. Tinkercad is valuable, but I think that for making beautiful models, you need to have beautiful CAD process, and that's also where I want to see 3D modeling go in general, is models that you're able to hand to other people, and they can not only use the parameters that you've set for them, but also modify these files in a very genuine and very thorough way.
So
Yeah.
Justin,
For
put me back
production,
up.
that'd be great.
I want to show you. This is a good example of something that I modified using synchronous
Yep.
modeling.
Producer.
So
This looks like a Raspberry Pi enclosure.
a Pi 3 enclosure, Pi 3B. I convert it to a Pi 3A enclosure in 10 operations.
Wow.
So there's one. Let's see, what face did I delete? I deleted. So you see these slots here.
Yes.
I delete them,
Just get rid of them.
and then move face. I slide everything back. Move face again. I shift over my USB port. Move face again. Bring it down. Move face again. Turn that to a slot. Linear dimension. What that is I put a dimension on the slot height.
Oh, you can also
and had,
dimension
yes.
this. Oh, wow, that's great.
So there's the distance, and you can select your origin here, and then your measurement, and then the face to move. So
There are so many
delete
fantastic
face.
programs out there. I go,
So-
you know what keeps me stuck in Fusion 360 though?
What's that?
Option paralysis.
Yeah.
Sure.
So watch this. This is one operation. This is a pattern. Bring that up.
You can pattern previous face. That's just.
I
very
can
nice.
pattern sets of faces. So there's a plane, and then I mirrored across, but only what I needed, and then sketch in that and extrude cut.
Stop
And
showing
now-
off a piece of software I can never afford.
And now
I,
it's a 3B.
I think I'd rather just hire Zach to do mods than actually buy software.
Oh, and you even pop the little prefab in there. That's great. I have been keeping track of my notes whenever I try new CAD software. I always take notes on mostly what I hate about it and sometimes what I like. And so far, I have documents for Fusion, Onshape, SolidWorks, FreeCAD, and the iPad's Shaper 3D, which was a very short note because
That's
I
cool.
quickly realized that it was definitely not for me.
I was
But-
going to ask which one you hated the most, but I think you just answered that question.
Yeah, I mean it's a different product, and iPad Shaper 3D takes some of like some aspects from good CAD software. Sorry, from traditional history-based, sketch-based parametric CAD, and it tries to make it more accessible, but I could neither get used to the lack of being able to go back in my timeline, nor the general interface, which seems moderately unintuitive to me. And yeah, I can't recommend it in its current state, which is very sad because I want a CAD software for my iPad. Boy, what a treat. But then Onshape comes along.
I was about to say
with just that.
Onshape.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
a great Onshape app for the iPad.
Onshape's about to take the CAD market by storm. I think they have
What's the
invested.
program's name?
Hmm?
What's the program's name for the iPad?
So there's two that I mentioned. The first one that I didn't like is called Shaper 3D, but it's spelled kind of weird. It's SHAPR, I believe. But the second one, the one that I really like, is called Onshape. All one word, ON shape. And it's made by the same folks. A lot of the original SolidWorks team went to work for Onshape. So you'll see a lot of similarities, but my favorite thing about it, I think I even have it open right now. Well, regardless, imagine Fusion 360 or SolidWorks, but done beautifully through a web browser interface.
Yeah, Onshape is really nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have two things. Let's see. For my problems with Onshape, the essential problems are that it doesn't let you export as a native file so you can share it anonymously. The way that Onshape wants you to share their files is through web links, which makes sense. However, my name is always attached to that web link. And I'm not going to talk about why I'm anonymously sharing CAD files, but the second piece is their version control is absolutely beautiful, but you can't delete a branch like a Git branch very easily. You have to like copy it. It's weird. And then let's see. If you start a sketch on a face, you can't turn the edges of that face into construction lines. They're always considered, like in use for forming a profile. And then the last one, which I hate the most, is that it doesn't keep the model upright when you're rotating it. You have to hold Alt to make the model rotate the way you want. You can't change it. It's a bummer.
That seems weird.
Yeah, it's just odd. It's from before my time. I'm sure some people, especially people who use that the 3D mouse, which I've tried, but I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, I don't know. It's not my workflow. I love the regular mouse. But I'm sure some old SolidWorks traditionalists are like, why would you want to keep it upright? Form must be free.
Yeah, I can't do a 3D mouse. Something interesting though. I've got pretty bad carpal tunnel. It's
Yeah?
much worse in my right hand than my left hand.
Ooh.
At work, I have started using my mouse left-handed. And
Oh,
in less than a week, it's second nature. I
that's
sit there
that's so
and work
interesting.
in Mastercam, so CAD basically, for 8 hours left-handed. I have to mirror the click, so this is primary, this is secondary.
Right.
But I can use right-handed all day long, and come home and sit down here and use left-handed to right-handed, just with no weirdness in my brain. I don't know how the hell, but oh my god, it is so nice to just give my hand a rest.
That seems so nice to be ambidextrous mouse wise. I can't imagine how long it would take for me to get used to that.
You know what I think it is? Can you type with your left hand as well as you can type with your right hand? Can you
Huh.
mirror your actions on your cell phone, touch screen? If you can instinctively mirror your actions, try swapping right and left click and then using your mouse in your left hand, as long as it's a shape that's conducive to that. And I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet you can in just a couple hours. I bet you can get used to it.
That's fantastic. I had a similar.
I go, my boss has his computer. He flip flops back and forth. He's ambidextrous. And sometimes he says, hey, I've got a problem, kid. Can you come take a look at my computer? I sit down at the computer and the mouse is all backwards, and I have to sit there and take a moment and train myself to use the left-handed mouse.
How about CADing without any hands? That's the next step.
Oh yeah, like VR or.
Yeah, just with your brain, your eyes.
Oh yeah.
Just thinking it, and then it just shows up.
Dude,
No, I'm just kidding.
when we can model,
Just teaching your feet how to model with like pedals. There you go.
it would be amazing to just envision a shape and then produce the step file.
Yeah.
The things that
the
do with
stuff's
such
pretty close.
technology.
So have y'all seen these 3-dimensional displays? Imagine a large monitor with a face detection camera on top. It will detect the position of your face in space and then modify the image on the screen to make it appear like you can move around and look around this 3-dimensional space. I really want this for CAD. And I think it's going to get a lot easier. I'm very excited for the Apple Vision Pro to release next year because I'm looking forward to the CAD software that comes with these AR interfaces. Because right now they're all very gimmicky. They're all very novel. I've tried this sculpting application for my 3D headset that the interface is fine, but you can tell it doesn't have that professional polish that you'd hope for. 3D Medic Vince says you need a
Yes.
mouse that knows its location to which side of the keyboard and
Or
sets it up
just
accordingly.
switch. All I need is a switch. That would
Oh,
Or you get a mouse
so
pad,
then
too.
you can have
What if you
a
had
mouse on
NFC
either
in
side.
the mouse and it switched based on which mouse pad you put it on?
ooh, like you could have a little NFC tag embedded in the mouse pad or in the mouse, and just have a detector on the other one, so that it would automatically switch.
Or your hand could have an implant like mine
Or-
and be able
Or
to
alternatively,
update
we
on the
could just
implant.
set up a little quick macro that you just double click something on your desktop and it switches it. Probably a significantly cheaper option than anything we could dream up.
It's not effortless enough. It's not magical.
No.
We can make a voice actor.
So
Well, you think
I used
Apple
to
would make
use-
a magic mouse that actually is magical, but it actually is like bad. So
one of the worst pieces of software I've ever used for design work was called Enroute. It was used to
oh god,
program
Enroute.
routers.
Oh god.
Mitch,
I ended up getting good at it. I ended up getting good at it. And,
Okay,
like,
if we're gonna
only
talk
because
about
it was bad,
if we're
I
gonna
got
talk
into
about
it.
router software, the worst one I ever used was Campus.
It's really-
so
it's dumbed
let me tell you why Enroute
Yeah.
is bad.
Oh yeah, go with Enroute.
The reason Enroute is bad is there are no keyboard shortcuts for anything. Nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. And there's lots of operations that are important that you have to use that you have to click through like 4 menus to get to. So you know what I did on the job where I had that? I put auto hotkey on my damn computer
Yes.
and I made my own macros.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Good work.
And I went from, so what it was we cut these foam flooring for boats. It was like stick-on, but it's called C-Deck. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah. I
So
installed a C-Deck machine. Yeah.
So the trick is you cut in different tool paths to get the shaping correct, where it looks like teak wood. So there would be a climb direction, a conventional direction with one tool, a climb and a conventional with another tool, and then a knife cut. So that's 5 different operations. So the way everything would work is each operation is a layer. So I would have to take just the vector lines given to me by the designer, and then split that up into, okay, this line is this line is this line is this. And I got to where I had a script that basically I would just run the script and it would set up all the layers for me and copy everything down to the correct layers. And then I go to each layer, make sure it's got all the right parts on it, and then run another macro, and it would go through, assign the correct toolpath to everything, and then flatten everything down to one layer to be sent out.
Nice.
So I went from what used to take like an hour worth of clicking down to 15 minutes.
Did you tell
they
your
had auto
boss?
routing, but I never used it.
I was getting paid $12 an hour at that job.
Oh.
I didn't
Don't tell
stay
your
there long.
boss. Oh yeah.
I didn't stay there long. No.
I just looked up like a cost of CNC machine like labor, and it's still like way underpaid. Because most of them are either operators, but if you're a programmer and an operator and you're still getting paid like $20 an hour nowadays, like
that's way under. Yeah,
it's way under. Even 30 is. I mean, 30 is probably decent for that job, but still.
30 in my area. 30 is experienced. 5 to 10 years experienced CNC machinist can expect about 30 to 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you right
as
now
much
because
as I'd
I don't
expect.
care about people knowing. I make 40 an hour as a programmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys, in this moment, I was doing a calibration on my bamboo and the 12-minute one, and I accidentally pushed on the button to print, and it started loading up the print, and it started doing the print, including the calibration at the same time.
Oh no! Whoa! Both at the same time.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Huh.
I know. I had
Did
to
it fail?
actually. Yeah, of course it failed, but I had to switch off the printer to reset everything.
Oof.
That's a fascinating. So
Yeah,
I'm
what an
actually
odd. Huh.
I'm actually having to send my
There's no
bamboo
auto
back
stop
to
of
bamboo.
celebration.
I go. I've been working with support back and forth for. Well, I opened the ticket like a little over 5 weeks ago, but I gotta lay put it out there. At least one of those weeks is entirely my fault because I was up at Murph, so obviously I can't do any support stuff with them. And then there was like one other week where they said, okay, we're pretty sure this is the problem. We're sending you the parts. And so it was like a week for that. And, part of the issue is I basically only get to interact with them once a day, 5 days a week, because they have their Saturday and Sunday off and they're in China, which means they're responding to me at like 1 and 2 in the morning, my time. So, it really extended it out. But I've torn that machine down 3 times now looking for the problem. Replaced the whole X gantry with the parts they sent me. Got it installed, still having the problem. Messaging back, they go, "Are you sure you installed it correctly?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I think I installed it correctly." I go, "Can you tell me something specific that I might have not installed correctly that I can go check?" They go, "No, we can't really tell you anything specific. All we can do is ask you to go check it." And they said, but we are at this point willing to take the return. And go, however, you should know that the return process is 12 to 14 days total. So it's like 5 days there and 4 days where they verify I actually sent the printer I claimed to have the problem with, and then 5 days to get. And I'm like, well, I'd rather avoid a 14-day return process because that's 2 additional weeks on top of the 5 weeks I've already been down. I will tear the machine apart one more time. So I tear it all down and I go through it. I take like 30 pictures of all the pulleys, the belts, the X-axis, the brackets, everything all over. And I send it all to them. I said, does anything look out of place? And they go, nope, that all looks good. Now, can you put it back together and test it one more time? So and I ran the device self-test, ran the calibration, ran their standardized model build plate test. And, oh, look, I've got it right here, actually. Oh, if I can reach it. Ow, I just pulled myself. Okay, so you see where it started to layer shift?
Oh.
There you go. Believe it or not, that is like a 1,000% improvement compared to the last print I printed before swapping the X gantry. So what these are supposed to look like, they're kind of like a wavy tower that goes back and forth. There's 3 of them, right? So just the last print, just before swapping the X-axis, just a line right across the bed, bulging, ugly mountain range of a line running across the thing.
I'm so sorry.
So the problem you're having is that it's layer shifting.
Yes.
Have you tried printing a square and verifying that it's actually square?
I did not. That wasn't
part
of what they asked me to do.
If your belt tensions are, if your belts are tensioned in such a way that your gantry is racked, it'll cause that kind of issue.
I checked the gantry. The gantry is the gantry is all square and running correctly. And plus, at this point right here from that print, I have loosened and removed and retightened and loosened and retightened the belt system like three or 4 times over now. So
I've got a Kickstarter X1 Carbon that was like, I was Kickstarter like 160. So I was one of the first in the US to get an X1. my printer has like 1,300 hours on it, and the only thing that I've done heavy maintenance wise, like outside of the norm, is the tool head board, which they replaced with the newer design. And that's the only issue I've had out of my machine.
I mean,
I've
that's
been noticing some Z banding a little bit, and I've got a good bit of play in my Z axis nuts that I need to address. But this machine's been fantastic for me.
My machine was fantastic too. I was actually printing the drag racer tire out of TPU when it did the first layer shift for the here. So this was my drag racer tire.
oof. It looks like a bird would live in that.
There you go. So that was the first problem. I'm like, okay, it hiccuped a little, something went wrong. Everything's fine. Throw up the little dog in the burning building right now. Just imagine that. There you go. So I start trying to print other things. Everything's layer shifting. But what's really alarming, and I tried to express this to customer service several times, and I don't think that they ever truly understood just exactly what I was trying to tell them. But so it's sensorless homing, right? It goes and bumps the side. It comes forward and bumps the front. There you go. So when it was doing the homing, it was slamming into the side. I kept telling him, this thing's hitting the side hard. I go, this isn't the sensorless homing where it goes over and goes bump. It is going wham. It go. And
Whoa.
they never went, oh, well, it really shouldn't be doing that. And I told him like 3 or 4 times over the course of something like 60 different back and forth messages with them. And honestly, I was never really convinced it was the X-axis, but I mean, they sent me the parts. I might as well trade it out because there should be the experts on their machine. They go, I was down to, I think, possibly one of the motors is jacked up. They go, but more than likely, I think something's gone bad with the control board.
It sucks that you have to go through all of this because the entire draw behind getting a Bamboo machine is that you're working on the things that come out of the machine, not the machine itself. Like
that's the draw. That's not the reality.
It's the opposite of a Voron. Like Voron is something that you pay attention to every piece of minutia in this machine, and you get something out of that. But the Bamboos, they have that promise, and that promise hasn't come through for you.
The thing is, I really don't have a problem. I mean, clearly I don't have a problem. Does my camera here?
Sorry,
there you go. I bought a second one.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
I don't have a problem with Bamboo. I understand that any company mass manufacturing something is going to produce a certain quantity of dud products. And if it's the board in there, that's not even necessarily Bamboo's fault. The board manufacturer shipped them a bad product. This is just all part of it. You be reasonable, go through the support. Speaking of, I really wish that I think this would help everybody from support to consumer. If there was some kind of website where we could register ourselves, and as we interacted with support, they could rate our technical expertise, and we could support level, and then we could bypass the bullcrap.
Right.
So one thing to consider:
log into support and totally skip that entire step where they're like, "Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?"
Right.
That's only in your dreams.
So one thing to consider about Bamboo that is really unique to just them in the 3D printing world is how many other companies have this style of mass manufacturing for 3D printers. Prusa makes a bunch of printers, a ton of printers. But the thing with them is that it's hand-picked 3D printed parts and,
which
hand-built by a person and hand assembled out the door.
I don't even want to get started on the topic of Prusa and they're still printing the parts of their thing. I got into a huge argument with somebody who's like, injection molds are expensive. And I go, do you realize how many printers they're producing? They could literally
They
afford
make enough to justify injection molding.
I
They
mean,
could literally
here's my
afford
argument.
replacing injection molds every 6 months with the quantities of printers they're making. And the
The
reality
problem is they iterate their parts over time too.
Yeah.
What
The other piece that's most
They
important.
go, it didn't have any significant part change for 4 years. Yeah, a little here and there, and you just replace that one mold, not the whole
Yeah, but
machine.
but is it
one
worth
mold.
replacing one mold for 10,000 versus saying, hey, print a part that we send you the filament for and you print it?
I
The
mean,
most
that is
important
the
part
advantage of it.
about
Design
them
the printer
printing their
in
own
such a way
printers.
that it is built with injection molded
But
parts.
the idea behind it is
with
not to
3D printed
do that.
parts.
The idea behind RepRap is not to injection mold everything.
I go, but here's the thing: it can still be rep wrap as long as you can injection mold the parts, but still have the machine designed in such a way to use 3D printed alternative parts.
The beautiful thing about a company that 3D prints its own printers is that it is a guaranteed stress test. If that's why I don't
And they
trust
print their
the
parts
companies
2 to
that
3
do
times as
use.
faster than anyone's standardly does.
I do think that it would be wiser financially for them to injection mold these parts.
Now, they do injection mold a few things. The Prusa Mini front and back
Like
plates.
Yep.
the
those
spool
are
holder.
injection
However,
molded. They're spool holders.
the benefit that they get from my trust of them using their own printers and truly improving on them because they understand how they break in a way that no other company could do if they were just putting them under very specific tests, like let's print this cube 100 times. They're not going to see the same problems as quickly.
So the point I was getting at
their
was
printers
that
are basically doing exactly that. They're printing this cube 1,000 times. You know, it's a more complicated cube, but it's essentially this part specifically designed to perfection for their printer over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, their printer's going to break eventually. But what they could do, now hear me out, injection mold everything, but that still leaves them with, I forget how many they said they had, 150 in-house printers for their print farm. What they could do is actually start a printing service with that. And then all the printers would be printing different things all the time. That would be real world testing.
I mean, they have 500 plus printers. They had 1,000.
That's not the point. That's not the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that Bamboo is really the only one mass producing this quantity with this manufacturing style. Because even like the Sobol, a bunch of injection molded parts, sure, but you're talking about a machine that's a knockdown kit that they stuff in a box. Bamboo is about the only one with any kind of large scale sending out welded steel frames and this type of mass manufacture. So, I see a lot of people in the group having issues. But the thing is, how many printers have they sold? It's got to be just a stupid number.
That's the thing. They've sold too much. So I really don't have a problem with Bamboo. All electronics and products are going to give you trouble. In fact, this year's been particularly bad for me in general. I've literally replaced every appliance in my house this year except for the air conditioning. Hot water heater went out, refrigerator went out, washer went out, dryer went out, and actually the computer I'm using right now has been giving me a lot of trouble over the last couple of weeks. I'm basically having to shut it down every other day to get a fresh start on it. So it's about to go kaputski on me. But at least my computer has lasted for the last 13 years. So it's probably time for an upgrade on that.
Yeah,
I think
So
the-
Luke, you've been hanging out here for a bit. You've been very
We have
quiet.
a really loud train.
Yeah.
Luke, can you hear us?
So, Will, I posted that that VR.
Yeah, I've just been
Oh,
trying to take it
good
all
work.
in.
I'm gonna like
And
that.
I
There's
can
a
hear you
lot
guys.
here. You're good. Just making sure.
And follow, like and subscribe.
Like with all 3D printing chat ends up being bamboo related at some
Yep,
point.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, you were
That's
talking
fine.
about the bamboo being all steel and welded. Does like so with the Creality, was it the new K1 Maxes? Are they steel welded frames as well, or are they?
I think
Does
they're
anybody know?
assembled.
I think they are.
I saw one at Murph.
I'm gonna
did
ask
not
Sam
look at
tomorrow.
it. Yeah, you ask Sam tomorrow. You'll be the best for that because you're in this time zone.
Yeah.
There you go. How about those
Yeah.
new Quitty, cute?
Oh,
Yeah,
cheese?
I'm just curious to
Cheese?
see because with the way that we're having a lot of problems with bamboo, I'm curious to see how it.
That'd be interesting to see. I know the chitty is mostly plastic on the outside.
How it stacks up with K1.
Yeah.
3D printing nerd.
Yeah, chitty bang bang.
I've heard better things about
Chitty
the
Walk.
Chitty than I have about the reality machines.
Didn't 3D printing nerd unpack today one? I'm not sure. I didn't watch his show.
Yeah,
think
they
he's
unpacked the
going to, right?
chitty. No, they did
Oh,
with
they already
Maker's
did.
Muse. They already did.
Yeah, I've already.
They were
I haven't
live doing
caught
it.
up with
It was pretty
anything.
cool.
I'll have to watch that. I'm glad that they did a collaboration because I don't think they've ever done any collaborations together.
Not that I know of,
I don't know. Still in the Team Voron kind of
Yep.
side of it, but I think it's just how much work do you want to put into it.
I think there's a
that's the
happy
big one.
medium that can be achieved
Oh yeah,
because
of course.
I
There's people
mean,
that have both.
we're
Luke
we're
likes
seeing
to build.
the beginnings of the 3D printing landscape to go towards the 2D printing landscape. And I've talked with a lot of people who were around back when, inkjet was in a similar position. People were making beautiful inkjet machines that could, print very high quality photographs. And this was before you saw like all of the printer ink, troubles. And, if you've bought a 2D printer these days, you know what I'm talking about. And that's my biggest fear with bamboo and a lot of these companies, as I see them making the same decisions that these 2D printing companies made, back when they were trying to
Yeah, they're
just
trying to control
make
the
a
market.
lot of money. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all about controlling the market.
Just wait until I
Who
watch
has the
subscription
biggest,
printers.
best toy?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I just want to be cautious, and I want us to be on our toes about
but
that
at
sort
the
of stuff.
same
So when we
time,
see it happen,
with your 2D printers, like I've got.
Yep. He's Luke. If you can hear me,
Yeah,
I think you're listening to the
Laser
Twitch
printers,
audio
inkjet
instead.
printers that have lasted me for 15, 20 years.
Luke, are you listening to the Twitch audio instead of the StreamYard audio? Because
Yeah, that's what it
And
is.
I just don't see
Yep.
the. Good question.
Good
question.
There
I'm
we
seeing
go.
a lag here, so let
Yep.
me.
Yeah. You gotta
Nice, we got
do
close
this,
Twitch and open and use your audio from StreamYards. I was wondering.
Now I don't hear anything.
All right, so you got to go to StreamYards.
There you go. He must have thought we were also rude constantly.
Yeah.
Every time we started talking.
Exactly.
They're being awfully rude tonight.
I feel
Totally
bad.
ignoring
First
you,
time
you
doing
know?
it in with StreamYard, so
We'll get him there. It happens. Unfortunately, it happens.
There you go.
I was
But,
wondering. I feel like everyone's interrupting him.
Now, hey, does anybody have a P1P?
Yeah, me.
There you go. Have you
Yeah,
done
yeah.
a smooth time lapse on your P1P?
No, does not work online.
There you go. I tried to do the smooth time lapse on the P1S, and so here's the thing. You know, the smooth time lapse is supposed to move the head back over the poop chute, take a shot of the layer, then keep printing, then move the head back over the poop chute, take a shot, right? There you go. Well, I went back to look at the time lapse of this 4-color Gengar I printed out, and it was taking this shot with the head all over the place. I go, but here's the thing. You could clearly see in the video that the head was quite frequently going back over the poop chute. So it was clearly doing that, but it wasn't taking the shot at the right time. And I've got a support ticket open with Bamboo. I said, surely this isn't how it's supposed to work, right? I go, so they're telling me no, it's not, and I've sent them the log files, and they're supposed to be reviewing it to see what happened. They go, I got to tell you, I was really irritated because the model printed so beautifully, it's absolutely perfect, no color bleed at all, and I was like, oh, now I got to go see this awesome time lapse of it just printing, and I'm like, what is this? Are you kidding me? I go, that was just supposed to be this gorgeous first 4-color print on the P1S for my YouTube channel, and now, I mean, it still turned out okay, but it's far less spectacular.
Oof.
So, Will, I'm about to upload my Works Maker X status stuff that I used your
what a
fasting system
treat.
on.
Yeah,
Good to know.
I want to like that when I see it come up. I've followed you on printables. I also just uploaded today this flexure design. So it is step files and 3MFs for printing a good version of it. So go and check that out. Like and subscribe. Patronize me.
Oh, and what I also found out that some of the error codes from the Bamboo were actually copied or made by another company. Or what's this phone company called? Huawei.
I haven't heard of that. What did you say? Puai?
Huawei.
Oh, Huawei. Yeah.
Huawei. Exactly.
Mhm.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No,
But,
it's
some of
really
the error
hard.
codes come actually from that company.
Huh.
That's what I found out because when I googled it, it gave me only Huawei couldn't. So I
Like
think
sites
that
and resources.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit
Bamboo
nervous about
is
that.
Yeah, Bamboo is no stranger to taking a lot of work that other people have done and using it unabashedly. You can tell my opinion on them. They make great printers. I just wish they were,
More
I don't know,
honesty.
more honest. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm happy about what I have. So I got mine
That's
for
good.
free.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
I
What
wish
a
I got
treat.
mine for free.
Yeah, how'd you swing that?
Even half price.
Well, one my wife won on the alarm show. That was last Christmas, and she won the P1P, and she basically gave it to me as a Christmas and birthday present.
Nice.
And
Nice.
the other one I got through somebody who, well, let's say it this way, I saved his life and long time ago. And
Oh.
we meet up again, and he says, "Oh, I see you're into 3D printing, and I have a little bit of money. I'd like to buy you a printer." And I'm like, "Okay." And he bought me a printer.
Wow.
So, yeah, he was in a bad mess 20 years ago. Last time I saw him. So,
I want to highlight John D. Strand asked what Zarkus's printables profile was, and
Zach X.
You should be able to post
Zach
it in
asked.
chat. That
Without a C.
Sorry.
My printables profile is ZAKN0N.
I actually posted it in the Twitch chat.
private chat.
How'd you come up with that name? I mean, it's your name, but
I have the M0N one. Or
no,
Zach
the
X.
Zach S.
My wife started calling me that. Actually, I think
Oh.
it was somebody I used to work with called me that, and she picked up on it. And
Yeah.
it sounds real close to Jackass.
Yeah.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
folks, I gotta duck out. I'm gonna go get something to eat.
I'll see
It's
you again.
been a real treat hanging out. Yeah,
See you hopefully next week.
Yeah.
hopefully. All right, peace.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys only see my hat. Not even my hat. Oh, crap.
Do we have a Discord for us? Sorry, do we have a Discord for this group?
Zach's Discord.
Yeah, my Discord.
Okay. I'm in so many of them, I don't know who to contact through other means, so sorry. Go
I'm
ahead.
not in the Discord for this group.
Well, we'll invite you. I gotta find it. There's a million of them.
Justin, did you remember to heckle Dwight?
Yeah, I did a little bit. Yes.
All right, because I totally forgot.
Yeah, I have told him a couple times for us.
All right.
Okay, I sent you the invite.
Sweet. Did you get that little STL part I sent you for the V0 cable thing?
Yeah, and then I tore apart the only printer that was functional, so I have to wait for the printer to be built to print its own part now because all my printers are. I have the backpack printer, but that doesn't do anything useful.
No, I have one
Doesn't do
in my
anything
house.
useful.
Yeah,
I have one
if it
rule
prints
in
the
my
PLA
house.
for fine.
If
Well,
it works, I have one rule in my house. If it works, don't break it.
yeah, well, it didn't work good
Don't
enough.
change it.
The big Delta printer didn't work good enough for me. So what happened was I was like, oh, I'm just gonna put a orbiter on my effector the way it is. Like, oh, I can just print an adapter. And then somebody also in the Facebook group, the See Me CNC Facebook group, said that he tried it. And he said that it caused a lot of ringing, mechanical resonance and ringing. But I've done an effector with the orbiter on my backpack printer, and that works fine. And I think it's because the lower center of gravity. So you have the effector plate. Actually, I have the parts here, but you have the effector plate, and then the hot end actually is below it. So on the duet board. So where your basically extruder, the heaviest part is your extruder, then your hot ends, and the middle part is there. But you still, if your effector tilts at all, you're still going to have a little bit of wobble on both sides. So, but if you have all your weight on the very top, and your point pressure points here, like your arms are mounted here, you have all this leverage on that effector from the top head.
I have
it's kind of like on the Vorons where you have a linear rail, but all your weight is distributed over the top and bottom, so it kind of.
I have my my effector ready to go. Minus,
and you're doing where you're
end
staggering it. So you have the extruder and the hot end, and then the nozzle just below the effector.
Yeah, the heater block, and then
That's what I mean. You don't want to remove your Z height, but you have so much Z height on these machines that like an extra 30 millimeters of Z height is not going to be a problem. So I'm okay with putting my nozzle lower because it's easier. It's also easier to mount things because if you have to mount anything above the effector, you have the arms will actually collide with it, so you have to make everything like as compact as possible above the effector. But below the effector, you can put fans and hot-ends and stuff. So it's a lot of
Question,
stuff.
guys.
I don't have.
You guys
Go
ever
ahead.
heard anything of DB Dan? I didn't hear of him lately. Anything?
He was on last week.
I saw him on Twitter
All right.
or some social media.
Yeah, he's been streaming on Kick, but I have
Alright.
seen him. He's now I seen him. Was it DB3D Media? Is what he's been using on YouTube lately.
All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. It's past my bedtime.
Bedtime. What's that?
East Coast trouble.
It's overrated. Come on.
It's 11:30 and my alarm goes off at 5.
You can sleep like this, standing up, like coneheads do.
So I have an office job where I sit at a desk and work all day, where it's quiet and cool and the lights are dim. So I struggle. And
Yeah,
it's,
me too.
it's exponentially worse. I can miss 30 minutes of sleep and it makes a huge impact.
Yeah,
I feel you.
I have an office job too. Today was today was I think the 4th time I've gone in this entire year to the office, and we went in, had a meeting. I took the guys to lunch, and then I came home and worked the rest of the day from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to be there. I have to be there to do my job though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you work on machines and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm I take Adderall, and I can take 10 milligrams of Adderall, and right when it should be hitting and peaking, I can be falling asleep at the keyboard.
Yeah.
If you up your dose though, it's going to be a problem because then you get dependent on it. That's the problem.
My problem is, sorry.
Go ahead.
My problem is this chair is very comfortable, and I sit sometimes in here, and then all of a sudden I'm like.
So the problem is your chair is too comfortable, huh? I'm pretty sure we can fix that with a bit of 3D printing.
Yeah, I know. Put some spikes in there, right?
Yeah, now you're talking.
Electroshocks. So when people come into the lobby, can electroshock me, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know anything about neutrinos, so I can't do it.
Arduino is pretty easy to get started with. Anything with high voltage though will totally mess up your Arduino. Like you have to do a lot of isolation.
Anything above 12 volts.
You just use relays. Have the Arduino trigger the relay and run all the high voltage through the relay.
Also, I think high voltage is not like really a thing to mess with outside of the US because we can. I don't know. There's some regulations that are weird. I don't know if that was what you're gonna say. We were just talking about like Australia has like if it's over 50 volts or something, you get an electrician to do it or something.
Well, I mean, local laws and all that, you should respect those, There you go.
But you can buy Amazon tasers all day long and give you like 20,000 volts at like a few milliamps, like slightly under lethal level.
What you just need to do is get one of those dog shock collars, put it like right where it pokes you in your neck, right there. Just to the point where you can feel it, not to the point where it's uncomfortable, and put it on a timer. So you're sitting there and all of a sudden it just zap.
You can get a microwave transformer. Just kidding. Don't do that.
So Justin, what printer are you breaking tonight?
All of them.
Right now, I'm actually replacing the bed. No, the belt printer's okay this week. Long story. So I'm replacing the bed on my 2.4. This bed's 2.5 years old, and it is worked. Taco. So I have the new bed over here, but I made the mistake of installing the magnet and the heater on the opposite sides of what they should have been. So I have an issue now where my bolts are running in to the plate. So I'm working on a solution, but obviously I need to figure out how to fix it. I'm not buying another bed plate.
File down the bolts.
That's what I'm working on. I just want to be able to remove them though if I ever need to.
Yeah.
So I have a couple ideas. I might drill a chamfer, a flathead chamfer in there, just quick with
Yeah.
a drill bit, and then just run flathead screws. So I'll deal with that another day though. But it's been warped. Literally, I printed a 340 by 340 2-layer, and I could see it across. It was bad. It's 2.5 years old. It was a 6 mil bed. All the beds now are 9. This is a 9 from Mandela Roseworks. It's a chunky boy.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I think once I get my CNC router going, I'm probably gonna make custom plates.
you gotta have a
'Cause
good
you
way
can,
to.
you can get cast aluminum. It's kind of expensive, but like
Right.
custom plates for people that don't have like that ones you can't buy
Right.
like in bulk. Like, and I've made custom plates for what was the guy's name? Chris Knack 3D, the White Knight printer.
Yeah.
Chris. The original
has
belt
been-
printer, yeah.
Belt printer's been kicking my ass. I am in the process of the 7th try for a contracted item. I have had 6 consecutive failures, one caused by tripping the breaker in this room and not having that on battery backup. 12 hours from being done. And I lost power to the room. And then I went to start the next one, and was it yesterday morning? The heater wires for the hot end decided to fray enough to short out. So that ended the print. Thank you, Clipper. And now, after fixing that, we're printing it. It's an 86-hour print. I have spent more on filament than the value of the contract.
Oof.
So
That's always the Murphy's Law of going with contract prints.
I started with this guy 3 weeks ago. I should have had it done in a week.
Yeah. Why don't you just injection mold it like Preso?
The guy wants a solid print all the way because it's a motorcycle seat. 2 people.
Oh, God.
There's more length.
Yeah, that's your first.
So what are you
mistake.
printing it out of?
PETG. PETG on the belt
Okay.
printer with a 0.6 nozzle, 8 walls. Here, hold on.
That's a tough print for a belt printer.
Not really. 8 walls at 0.7 width with infill 15%. Not the.
Okay.
I mean, he's gonna wrap it. I'm printing it like this because he's gonna wrap this side with padding and fabric.
Yeah.
So this side doesn't need to look perfect. This side needs to be more.
Yeah.
More
Otherwise,
pretty,
I'd have to support the whole bottom end, which would be even harder to remove.
It also looks like those grooves go in places, you know.
Yeah, they do.
If
Yeah,
they're
he's
messed
got a
up,
custom. It's a custom motorcycle shop.
Yeah.
I probably
So-
took a motorcycle car for my dad because there's a bunch of like old Kawasaki's from the 80s that have this like side panel oil pan cover that like or oil side cover that's like it's a compound curve, and I mean I could probably fiberglass it, but to make the buck I'm probably gonna scan it with my phone to get the general detail and then like just remodel it. But I could probably just print the side covers and
Right.
and then the problem with that is smoothing. Like I have to have a more efficient way to smooth prints besides like PVB
Yeah.
and
Acetone.
Yeah, but it comes back to me having a 350 millimeter printer that can print big parts that I can actually print in ABS.
I'm getting a contract with a government entity that'll be very lucrative.
Oh, that'd be cool. You can't tell us about it though.
What 3D
That's why I
program are
said
you
government
using
entity.
on your phone? On your phone, what 3D modeling software are you using to scan?
Which software?
Yeah,
Oh, me?
yeah,
Online software on my phone?
yeah.
Sorry. Oh, I don't. I mean, I use Fusion 360 for everything,
Alright.
which does have an app, but the app is kind of convoluted. It's
They
good
have a
for
scanner?
reference, but
The app is basically a
Oh, you're talking about scanning. I'm sorry. I'm using Polycam. That's probably the easiest to use and most reliable. But I have used Luma AI, which is not really a good mesh scanner. But so Polycam is limited unless you pay for it, but I think it's worth it. But on the iPhone, it uses the low resolution lidar to get general geometry. So I see how the lidar is picking up my general geometry,
Yeah.
and that helps with the photogrammetry. So it's using photogrammetry and lidar combined on the iPhone 14. Sorry, my background is being removed, but it's surprising that it's actually working this way. But yeah, it's actually does. I mean, if you're okay with a a low resolution mesh, which all I really need to have is I just have to have the general curvature because I'm just going to recreate it with critical dimensions because it's not going to be high enough resolution that I'll actually know. So I'm going to have to remodel it anyway. So in Fusion, to do a compound curve, I think I can just do B-splines or in the surface modeling, surface modeling part of Fusion. And I think I can do compound curves pretty easily with that, like controlled compound curves that are parametric. I've never done compound curves. I've never done any organic modeling in Fusion. So I'm gonna have to learn that. But like, that's how I'm planning to make, like, because car parts are really what everybody wants to 3D print, like that I've talked to. But they think that it's like magic, and it's not. And it's so hard to scan like car parts because they're all black. They're all black and featureless, and like you gotta paint them, and they're either reflective or you gotta prep them. You gotta have the right lighting. You have to have a high enough resolution scanner. The iPhone is not high resolution, so
I have
you're in
the
the
reality desert.
well. There's not the iScan. There's another one. Shining 3D has $1,000 scanner that's supposed to be really good, but that's like you go from $200 scanners, and then you have like an iPhone that's $1,000, but it does a million other things. I just bought it because I wanted the extra scanner functionality, but it's not as good as like I would have better luck with photogrammetry. Yeah, like photogrammetry is just easier because you could just use any camera, really. I mean, a high quality camera. But I like 3D scanning is such a pain that I just don't do it. Like if somebody, it would have to be a irreplaceable item for me to like want to scan it. Because there's so many other ways you can get simple geometry. Like you can take a side profile or something, top down side profile, and just draw the curvature of that part. Yeah, I mean, I really wish there was a better way, but I don't want to invest in a scanner. And the makerspace we had. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'd rather just send stuff to Grant because he has a better scanner setup. But we at the makerspace we used to have a Next Engine HD scanner, and it was like $5,000, and it was like another $1,000 for the thing, and it was a structure. It wasn't structured light. It was a laser photogrammetry, and it had like a turning base, like a 3-axis turning base system, and then it also had software that could actually export to SolidWorks. But like nobody ever figured out how to use it. There was a few people that did classes on it, and then it broke, and then nobody could repair it. The company wouldn't repair it, so we ended up just getting a Revo Pop. And then as soon as we got the Revo Pop, like nobody learned how to use it, and it just sat there because it's so tedious to do 3D scanning. It's just not worth doing it for most things. Like it's fun to play with, but it's not useful unless you have a very specific use. And the one guy that did use it a lot was converting what's the C5 Corvette to a C2 or C3 body. So he would scan the body panels of like a old Corvette and then make it into like a newer Corvette body, and that's what he was doing. So like car parts, like if you look, Super Fast Matt has a good video on 3D scanning. He 3D scanned his old Viper, and he's turning his Viper into an off-road vehicle. But he has to basically remodel all the geometry of the chassis.
This is one of the things I scan. this is for a laboratory. What I'm making the bottom for, so they can do those little test vials in them, you know.
Yeah.
And
Specimen jars.
I'm charging them quite a bit for each of them, and they're like, "Oh, okay, give us like 100." I'm like, "Okay."
Why do you need a scanner though?
They wanted the exact measurements. This was one of the. I'm like, yeah, but we want that you scan it. And I'm like, yeah.
What I don't understand, why do
No,
they
that's
that
totally
wrong?
something you reverse engineer.
Yeah, I know. All what I need to do is have the size of this, and that's it, and the height of, and how far the spaces need to be apart. You know.
If you really want it to be tight, you could put a taper on it, but that's about it. Like,
Why
really
do
not
they need
much you
to
need to
print it at all? Isn't that something they could just buy already made? I mean, those specimen jars are pretty common size.
Yeah, I know, but they want custom ones with their logo on it.
Oh, sounds like some upper level executive got a good idea.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I worked with too many people like that. But it's like, sure, I'll take your money for your vanity.
I'm charging them like £5 for each of them.
That's pretty good.
So, and to make them is like not even £1, you know. So it's pretty good profit. So,
Yeah, I don't know the conversion rate, but I would imagine it's still cheap for you to make it, even with the overhead. And that's such a simple thing to make.
I can print this out on the bamboo in less than an hour.
Wow, that's good.
So I'm making a big one actually right now for the laboratory. What they have? They have several laboratories that test for all kinds of stuff in there. It's part of the they attach to the NHS, doing NHS stuff here in England. So
they
I'm trying to get the military contract. Like,
yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, the drones, making parts for drones. That's what I thought about to do. I had an offer from another country, not England, another country who wanted that I do drone parts for them, and I'm like, I can't do that for you. I'm sorry. You know. So,
yeah.
They want me to do those little winglets, the prop guards, you know, and the main board where they're screwing the motherboards and then the wings on it. And wow.
Yeah, I need to get in these contracts because I haven't done a commission for a long time. And the commissions I did were working on CNC machines because that's what I'm good at. But the problem with that is you have to go somewhere, and it's usually reverse engineering some Chinese CNC that like has no documentation, and then it ends up requiring me like rebuilding a machine. So, and I don't charge that much for my time, so I probably should.
I don't charge nothing at all for my time in designing stuff.
Marcel, you have the worst timing.
You mentioned drones, and he shows up.
Well, considering we're ending the stream in 2 minutes, that's great.
Hello. Goodbye.
Hello. How you doing, Matt?
I just did a commission a day or two ago, but it wasn't a 3D printing; it was laser engraving. They go, somebody had this little beer bottle opener wall-mounted thing. He's like, "Hey, can you just put this guy's name like right here?" And it's painted black, and I'm like, "Well, I don't know how well it's going to turn out, but I'll sure try." I go, so the thing is, I'm holding it up. I go, "This is a really soft wood." And I go, he didn't have any test piece, and he couldn't tell me what the wood is. So I just went into my settings, and I said, okay, plug it in some soft wood. And I decided to use the back of it to test. And so I run the test, and I pull it out, and it's almost blown a hole clean through the piece. And I'm like, oh, man. I go, I thought this was soft wood, but apparently it's styrofoam. So I cut all the settings back to like a third. Well, I cut the power back to a third and I doubled the speed, and that seemed to be about right. And then I made one final adjustment.
Yeah, I need to use my laser more because I have a CO2 laser and like I've done some really cool stuff. It's just like finding what to do with it. Like I've had just a block of what to do with it. I made some cool stuff, but you know,
Yeah,
I guess
that's
find it.
Signs are cool.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to end the stream. Unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow.
No worries.
Thank you all,
Marcus,
and everyone who was
thank you.
here to hang out. Luke,
Yeah.
it was great having you. We'll hopefully have you again
Yeah.
next week. I'll send you another invite.
Yep. I'll be more talkative too. Now that
You're
I've figured
good.
out the audio between the stream
Right,
and
the
StreamYard.
delay made a mess for you. I know.
Yeah.
I was wondering about
It's
that. I
all
was like,
good.
what's going on?
Yeah.
It's all good. Figure it out.
That was good having you. Ian, don't work too hard.
You know, I wish I could avoid working too hard. Literally,
I think
killing
we all wish
myself.
that.
I like doing 3D printing stuff.
Yeah,
I do too.
These streams
It's
are
not
getting more
hard
and
for me.
more chatty, which I'm quite enjoying. So,
Except for you, you invite us all here and then just sit in the background, letting
hey,
us
you know,
control the
Yeah,
conversation.
I'm a good moderator. I'll just sit. This is the whole idea. It's not
It's
for
because
me
you
to
get the
chat. If
host.
I wanted to chat, I wouldn't invite anyone.
Ah.
So,
I'd rather be on
Wow.
these chats than my own stream because I'm usually not. I'm usually working
Right.
on something.
got a whole
But it
bunch of
motivates
people
me to
watching.
work
Yeah.
on stuff.
Well, I'm gonna raid on Twitch
Alright.
over to Jay's 2 cents because I can. And let's see.
Oh, I forgot he streams.
Yeah, he
'Cause
games.
Amish Ace as well.
Right. Let's see
Yeah,
how he
two
likes the
other
raid.
days,
We're
make
gonna
up
raid
for
over
school.
now on Twitch. So for all people on Twitch, you guys have a good night. And anyone else, YouTube or Kick, have a good night. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. unless something changes.
I'll send me an invite.
I will try to remember. If not, let me know.
I didn't know you were on Kick.
Yep. So, everyone, have a good evening.
Yep. Have a good one. Later.